Dynamite Collision on deck. We call every move, every hit, every check. If you want the truth, opinions, and fire, welcome to the winner circle.
Good morning and welcome to Workhorse Wrestling Network. You are gathered with us, usually as always, on Saturday morning for the Winner's Circle. Although life does be life, and sometimes it's Sunday night. Sometimes we don't get here at all. Unfortunately, it just is the way it is. Last weekend we were not here, but we are back here again for your viewing entertainment, listening entertainment, viewing entertainment, however you choose to
call it.
Injustice podcast. Let's put it that way. That's a weird way. I couldn't think of a word. I was drawing a blank on a word. So it is bright and early over here, 7:15 a.m. on the West Coast, 10:15 a.m. over there on the East Coast in Florida, where Miss Anika is at, my Winner's Circle partner. We are going to. Oh yes, go ahead. Say good morning to the fine people, Miss Anika.
I'll just say hi.
Let's see. If you're new to the Workhorse Wrestling YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button on this video. It helps a lot. Hit that little bell on the YouTube channel. That way you get notified every time we go live on the YouTube channel. If you're with us on Twitch, give us a follow over there. We appreciate each and every one of you. Ariel's in the house, or Ariel is in the house already. He was wondering where we were at earlier. We had a little technical difficulty, so we're in a little bit late, but we are here. So let's get it. As usual, we will be reviewing Collision and Dynamite from last week. A little bit different, actually. It'll be from Collision from Thursday, July 2nd, because we had a Dynamite and then Collision, and then I guess there wasn't anything technically last weekend, and then we had Beach Break on Wednesday. So we're going to be reviewing what I thought was two solid shows. I thought Collision was really good and Dynamite Beach Break was really good. So I'm excited for this. What do you think about these shows just in general before we crack into the specifics?
No, you have hit the nail on the wagon. Where again, I definitely believe that these two shows were really, really good and a lot to talk about. Actually, like it listen, when we don't be coming on here, it pains us as well because we've been having some banger shows recently. Like we've been having some really good, like, shoot, I want to talk about X, Y, and Z, and it's like, mama came into town. Like, So, but this week was very much so the same. And yeah, can we get into it?
Yeah. It feels like, so. I mean, AEW feels kind of in their bag for me at the moment. Like we had we had Double or Nothing, and people talked about that as being one of the best pay-per-views of all time ever, and and then we had Forbidden Door, which for me personally, just because of the way that I like it, I like Forbidden Door almost a little bit more than Double or Nothing. I know nobody's ranking Forbidden Door with Double or Nothing in the scheme of things. The talking heads aren't talking about it being one of the greatest. But for me, I just enjoyed it a little bit more. There were certain things that I enjoyed about it a little bit more. But it is what it is. And then I thought, the shows have been very solid since then, and it looks like it's going to be very solid leading up to All In. So AEW is in their bag at the moment, in my opinion. So, and that translated into a very solid episode of Collision on July 2nd, Thursday instead of Saturday. So it kicked off with the Death Riders, the Bastard Pack, and the newly masked Claudio Castagnoli. Not newly masked. I guess he's been wearing it for a little while now, but if you haven't been paying attention, the newly masked Claudio Castagnoli of the Death Riders versus a new New Japan faction, which I guess are the remnants of Los Ingobernables de Japón and the Bullet Club, which I guess have kind of dispersed, and they've become what's called the Unbound Company. So Shingo Takagi, who was a member of Los Ingobernables, and Driller Maloney, who was a member of the Bullet Club, have, even though they were, I don't know if they were warring. I don't watch and New Japan enough, but I think that they were kind of warring factions to a certain extent. Have now come together and created a New Japan faction. So they are over here representing Unbound Company versus the Death Riders. So in a very solid match. If you're not familiar with Shingo Takagi, he's kind of a bigger man. I wouldn't say I mean, he's not a monster, but he's kind of a harder hitter. He's a stiffer guy. He's one of these guys that's kind of a hossy guy. And Driller Maloney, we're familiar with him. He's been around with the dogs, the Bullet Club War Dogs, and the dogs, and War Dogs, blah blah blah, in and out. He has been spent more time, I think, in New Japan recently than he's been in AEW, but we have seen him before. So, and obviously, we're very familiar with Pac and Claudio. So, very solid match. This was a great way to kick off the show. The Death Riders did get the win, which I guess it is what it is. I mean, I'm always for when you bring over guys. This was an interesting episode because they had these guys from Unbound Company, and then we'll talk about ELP later. But it's interesting when you bring guys over and they take losses. I don't think that everyone that comes in for a special match has to always win. And I understand, Death Riders is Death Riders, and Pac and Claudio are what they are, and most people aren't beating them. But at the same time, you want to, if your goal is to expand your um, partnership with New Japan and bring more guys over, the best way I think to do that is to bring them over to get them some wins. Them come over once in a while and you see them take a loss, like it doesn't. It's easier to just kind of forget them because they came over and lost too. Like so, I don't know. That being said, it is the Death Riders. So the Death Riders did get the win here. Solid match, lots of good back and forth. What do you think of this match? What do you think of this opening to the show?
This was good. This is very, very good. Surprise, surprise. Don't know who these people are. Sorry, I like you can unless you change your hours, but you shouldn't do that because you're in Japan. But it's like unless I'm up at 3 and I have access, these minimal things are probably going to be not in reach. But no, this was a very good. I did. Shino Takagi is sounding a very, very familiar name. And for me to know it, it's like, oh, that's actually pretty big names, I guess, in New Japan. If I know it, I'm like, okay, yeah. So, can't say it could have been on Dynamite all the time, because, like, even though I know the name, probably a lot of people that haven't, but this was a really good match. As far as to get the win, this match on Claudio. Sir, it's not. I know you're a CMLL, and I appreciate that you're, I guess, adapting the culture to a little bit of a minimum, but you can mask off. But like, sir, I need to either get a better mask or just take it off because you look silly. That's just me. I'm like, especially the big red eyes over the black. It's like, no, this doesn't make no sense. But no, this is a very good match. That's why I get the win. I do agree with what you're saying. It's like, but this is like the hardest thing with crossover promotions since the beginning of time. Of if we're going to cross over, who wins? Now, granted, a decision has to be made, but it is like, bruh, can we win one? Can we win? Or we stop doing business because at this point in time, it really is like, bruh, what the freak? Like what? Like, why are we over here? Just y'all get wins? To bump that. So it's like, so I do agree. Where it's like, at one point in time, one of us got to get a win over here, especially on Forbidden Door. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, none of them won over there either. So it's like, listen, let's have a discussion next time we do this little cross promotion. But the match is good for all of them.
I agree with all that. Let's see. Rail says, my week's been amazing since Willow came back. It was awesome. Yeah, we will definitely get into that. We here at Workforce Wrestling Network are very pro Willow, so we are excited for her to be back. and that will definitely be a topic of discussion when we get there. So I'm glad you had a good week. Glad all is well. Thank you, as always, for being here with us on Saturday mornings. And let's see. So after the match, we had Lexi Nair backstage. She is with Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong, who all it takes. Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love these guys, and I understand what it is. It takes a certain amount of chutzpah, cojones, to wear a shirt with your own face on it, and they all have shirts with their own faces on them. So I
Yes, it
love it.
does.
It's great. It's not something that it takes a lot of confidence. Let's just say to wear a shirt with your own face on it. Cassidy's been doing it for a while, but. So that caught my eye. These guys are back there. They're talking about how the conglomeration has gold as they are trio champions. Unfortunately, despite getting the win in the steel cage and the advantage from the shot from Mark Briscoe, it didn't work out the way the conglomeration had hoped on Dynamite the night before, with Mark Briscoe losing the world championship match to MJF in an incredible match. But losing nonetheless. And then Takeshita kind of came in, and they were talking about how Takeshita is going to be defending his title against Kyle O'Reilly, and just how the conglomeration all has. I mean, I guess Takeshita is kind of like a conglomerate adjacent. I don't know,
He
honorary
has a book
conglomerate
bag.
member.
He's in
So
there. He has a
he's
book
in there.
bag.
So he's an official member. So yeah, what do you think of this little backstage promo from the conglomeration?
It was cool. It does suck that so we weren't here last week. It was MJF versus Mark Briscoe. Mark Briscoe lost. Whatever. Screw it. We're talking about a little bit over here. So so they do a Forbidden Door. The Mark Briscoe teams wins, gets the title. He's like, let's do it. Let's do it. This was on Dynamite. Okay, and he loses. Then we're going to fast track to MJF versus Kenny Omega this week, and it's like pump the brakes. I know people are like, well, it's Mark Briscoe. Do we really spend time with it? Yes, with a championship match. I need to be in this. I need a glimmer of belief that this man can win. When you're doing it this fast, this is not a like bring Darby Allin. No, with Darby Allin, I had hope because they been building. They did a proper job, and oh shoot, this is actually happening. And then, of course, the hype beyond the show makes it better as well. With this, it feels like a blow off, which pisses me off because, like, no championship match, especially with people who consider up to mid card top tier wrestlers, should be a glimmer of a chance. So I'm very pissed off about Mark Briscoe versus MJF because everybody can say, oh, this in the middle of the match, I somewhat hope. Cut the BS. Cut the BS all the way up. No, you didn't. Like, no, and then you blew it off. We go straight to MJF versus Kenny. It's like, no, if you're going to do a match, I would love to freaking believe that dude could win. But so the conglomeration talking about what happened. They're like, yeah, we won, but Mark Briscoe didn't get the title. And it's like, it's basically it's not like giving a rundown of last week's event, just in case you didn't watch that, right? And they're like, the whole Willow thing. They're like, oh, Willow will be coming back. High hopes. And then the character came into view. It felt like a report of a previous event. That's what it felt like. Like breaking news. And here's the news spot of AEW Wrestling Conglomeration. That's what it felt like. But to know that Mark Briscoe got hurt, I think it was reported he got hurt during the match with MJF, so he will be out for a minute. That does suck because his energy is infectious. Whereas it's like once he comes back, it's just like heck freaking yeah, let's go. So it does suck on that front, but this was a okay segment. Like it did what it needed to do, which basically tell us that Mark won't be back for a minute.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I had quite as much a problem with them doing the match on Dynamite as you did. I mean, it's Briscoe, it's MJF. They've been at each other for a while. Briscoe's the kind of guy that, for me, doesn't take a whole lot of ramping up. Yes, I agree with you that when you do it that fast and on a Dynamite, you really kind of, and you know that you've got kind of Omega waiting in the wings. There's probably not a whole lot of unpredictability there. I mean, I feel fairly confident in saying that I didn't think that Mark Briscoe was going to win that match. That being
Yeah.
said, the match itself I thought was insane. Like, I mean, the amount of kickouts that both guys had, well, especially MJF at twos after what I thought were finishing moves was insane. All of that said, so I mean, the match itself was phenomenal, as Mark Briscoe, and MJF were both capable of doing, and they do all the time. So that
Yeah.
shouldn't have been a surprise. I mean, yeah, I mean, I feel kind of bad for Mark Briscoe. Well, I feel bad that he got injured, and who knows how long he'll be out and how bad it is.
Right.
So I feel bad in that regard. I mean, I feel a little bad for Mark Briscoe because you're right. I mean, it feels like they know he's a mid-card guy who's kind of above his head, but yet they want to give him because he's so over, they want to give someone the moment, but at the same time, not really. So it's like you want to give him the opportunity, but he's not quite the guy you really want to be carrying the company, right? The big belt for the company for any
Yeah.
period of time, that kind of thing, right? So it's like, yeah, I don't know. The whole thing is the politics or the optics of the world title belts and those kinds of things. It's interesting because I was listening to Dave Meltzer. This is it's kind of analogous. Dave Meltzer the other day talking about Sami Zayn losing the title and only holding it for 9 days, and they were
Yeah.
talking about how um there's that WWE has gotten back to this idea, and they like the idea that the main event guys at the top are the guys that hold the belt. Like, yeah, every once in a great while you can get a guy like a Sami Zayn or a Mark Briscoe to come in who's a mid card guy, thunder in a bottle, lightning in a bottle, and they win the belt on some miraculous whatever. Never stating that it's all scripted, of course, so they can do whatever they want to do whenever
Right.
they want to do it. But that being said, forget about that. But and that the belts are now, now that it's back on CM Punk, it's back kind of, it can be on a guy that's a main event, blah blah blah. And I think there's kind of this thought in general in professional wrestling, and has been for a long time. And this kind of reminds me of that a little bit. Mark Briscoe is kind of this. I don't want to say he's the Sami Zayn of AEW, but I can see very similar kind of characteristics, both high energy,
Yeah.
both very over with the crowd, but both booked in a very kind of high end mid card, low main event status. Like the guy that they can plug and play when they need somebody from the mid card to come in and take a good loss or have a very surprising win. And it's not too bizarre because they are talented, but
Yeah.
yet you also know they're never going to really be the guy, right? Sami Zayn is not going to hold the belt for 4 years like Roman Reigns.
Right.
Like those kinds of things. And Mark
We never
Briscoe's not going
thought
to hold the
that
belt.
either. Yeah.
Right. And Mark Briscoe's not going to hold the belt for 4 years like Roman Reigns or 6 months like MJF, any of that kind of stuff. So I get it, but at the same time, yeah, I mean, they could have done a little bit more, I guess, to make it a little less predictable. I mean, I guess the question becomes, what does that look like? So if they put it on Beach Bash or Beach Break, does that make it less predictable? I mean, do you think
I
if they put
I
it on,
think we hype it up more.
yeah,
Like 2 weeks. Come on. Can we give one more week to just give me a little bit of doubt? Like one more week. Is it really that bad to do one more week?
yeah. No, I mean, that's hard to argue with. I mean, so it is what it is. So moving on, we had our next match, another solid match here. Former member of the Don Callis family, Andrade El Idolo. How you know?
I don't know.
How you know? Uh, versus Brian Cage. in what was, I thought, a really good match. I mean, this was one of the better showings that I can remember for Brian Cage. I thought they did a lot to let him look really strong. He kicked out of several 2 counts. The match went a lot longer than I thought it was going to. I'm a big Brian Cage fan, but they haven't necessarily booked him this tough in the past. And against a guy like Andrade, who like they've been kind of hinting at is going to be maybe in the main event picture. It just seemed like that was some strong booking for Brian Cage. That being said, the match itself was phenomenal. I enjoyed it. I thought Andrade looked great. Nothing against Andrade, but I love that he's gotten over a broken English saying that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't even mean anything, but it's great. Everybody loves it. It's phenomenal. So I'm all in for Andrade at this point, and I thought this was a great match. I thought this match was really good. What do you think about this match?
It was good. With Brian Cage is one of those, AEW has a big man problem, which they do have to solve at one point in time. Because we had a couple of big dudes who are just like, man, listen, I love dearly that AEW is the land of, what you call it? That if you're the best wrestler, you win. I absolutely love that. But it is like, there is a little bit nudge towards the smaller guy. And then to that, it's like, come on, man. It's like, more so because AEW's big dudes are that good. Case in point, Brian Cage or Lance Archer. Yeah, well, he was good, but let's turn another time. But anyway, it feels like when Brian Cage got there, they put a little bit towards him more. So, Team Taz, man, look, that was my team. I still believe they should have done more of that, but I digress. But here, this was not, it wasn't a blow-off match, and it shouldn't have been a blow-off match because, anybody in the Downtown family, it should not be a blow-off match. But this was really, really good. Brian Cage, like, sir, I need you to stop lifting weights. It's done. It's over. You can't get no more bigger. Like, now I have questions about your health because sir, you do not have to get like sir, you're healed. You're fine. But yeah, it was a very, very good match. I love Andrade right now. I love it. And we've all said Andrade is a great wrestler. And he even had charisma. So it really was a point of why aren't we in both companies? It's like, why aren't we giving this guy a chance? Now, granted, AEW, maybe he just didn't wait long enough. We'll put a little bit of grace on it. Maybe. We don't know. But yeah, how you know. We'll talk about that for a little bit more on Dynamite. But I am very happy that he's over. Not sure what we're going to do with it, but please do something substantial with it. Please and thank you.
I agree. Gabe Kidd is in the back, ready to answer some questions. He says he is both a Death Rider and a dog. He says that let's see, that the Bang Bang Gang is here in AEW and they're going to have to deal with them. And he reminded Jay White that David Finlay drove him out of New Japan Pro Wrestling, and now they're both here in AEW again, and that the dogs and the Death Riders are coming for the Bang Bang Gang. What do you think of this little promo? Real quick, Ariel says if they want to do Bang Bang Gang versus War Dogs, then so be it. Yeah, I mean, what do you think of this promo, Anika?
Very good promo. This crazy dude's my dude. Like crazy enough, I got introduced to the War Dogs during Wrestle Talk's survival game, and that's when I'm like, these two are hilarious. I love every single one of these. And so yeah, but Kid's my dude. So I'm very glad that he's back. but this is what I'm talking about when we say when someone is being debuted or when someone comes back, have a program ready for them. This is what we're talking about. Jay White comes back. Program's already. Who do you go against? Lil Shillelagh. So what we're gonna do? Bang Bang Gang versus the Dogs. Yeah, like see right there, program for at least a month, maybe two. I want to push it like do a month and we're good to go. But yes, program right there. Let everyone play. Do you see how simple it is? Do you see how simple it is to set up a program with somebody if you and let them work that until we're ready to bring them in a title picture or something like that. It's simple. So I love this. This is very good, and I can't wait to see kids come back.
I agree. Little Shillelagh. I like that. No, I'm here for all this. I love
Forever.
the dogs. I love the dogs. I like Bang Bang Gang. I'm not really sure at this point kind of who I side with. I mean, I feel I'm a huge David Finley fan, but I also am a huge Jay White fan. So at this point, I'm here for it. Here's the problem, though, and I mean, I guess maybe now there AEW has more what I would call tweeners or fence riding factions or wrestlers than I've ever seen in my whole entire life. Like, is Bang Bang Gang heels or faces? Like, they've been heels pretty much, but now they're kind of faces because they're so over. And
Yes.
again, the dogs, they're definitely the heels because the dogs are, I mean, they're the faces because the dogs are definitely the heels, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's weird. Like, I'm not totally sure, but I'm here for it. I think, I mean, I think Jay White, I think if you're looking at the members of the Bang Bang Gang and the members of the Dogs, I think that Jay White is probably the best out of both groups as far as the best
Yes.
whatever. Then
Oh,
it kind of trickles
yes.
down from there. But I think that the Dogs are probably a little bit higher position than some of the guys in Bang Bang Gang. So
Mm,
it's gonna be a very interesting feud. I
yeah.
can see him, you know. So but I'm here for all of it. So then we had something that made my heart happy because Thunder Rosa is back. Wow. Okay, back for a match.
Yes.
I don't know. She seems to be back. And for the
Yes.
first time, other than with Tony Storm, Mina Shirakawa seems to be teamed with someone, Thunder Rosa, that shares her same kind of energy. And
Yes.
they look like they worked really well together. Like watching them together, they clicked like a team. And I was like, this feels very cool. I'm happy to see these two together. I feel like Mina Shirakawa's floated around a little bit with kind of, especially with Tony Storm gone. Even with Tony Storm
Yeah.
here, she was kind of floating around with kind of just like, well, what are we going to do with Mina Shirakawa? Like, we'll team her up with her. We'll put her here. We'll see like where she can
Yeah.
get in and where she fits in. And it's been kind of a little hit or miss. And this is the first time for me, other than with Tony Storm, it felt like, wow, she really clicked. So her and Thunder Rosa were in a tag team match against Zara Zacher and Becca. We've seen Becca before. I've never seen Zara
Yeah.
Zacher. So, nonetheless, two names that we really don't know. It's Thunder Rosa and Mina
Yeah.
Shirakawa. So you already know what the outcome is going to be, as it should be. These two got the win. Great to see Thunder Rosa in the ring. And like I said, it was fun to see these two wrestle. It felt like they had natural chemistry. It felt like they worked together as a tag team. And if these two can find some way, and I know that I've made this issue before and I get it. I understand that Mina's small and Divine Dominion is huge and Thunder Rosa isn't trying. If you can find
Yeah.
some way for these two to win those titles, I would be here for that. I like this tag team. So I mean, it's only been one match. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but even a match against Divine Dominion would be nice. I'm here for that, and I'm here for more women's tag team wrestling. Like the
Yes.
Divine Dominion had a promo 2 weeks ago where they basically said there's no one to wrestle, and they're not lying. I mean, they basically said we have nobody. So here is Thunder Rosa and Mina Shirakawa, two great singles wrestlers that have come together to be what feels like a very solid Frankenstein tag team, and I'm here for it. So give them some opportunity. What do you think of this defeat and these two together?
No, I echo everything that you just said. Where Thunder, like I don't know what we don't know what happened to Thunder Rosa, but when she came back, she said I wasn't injured. So it's like, oh. It's like especially when you have we have the TBS championship, the women's heavyweight championship, like a tag team title. You need more bodies, so why not use them? And so I drew with Mina, where not sure, like we still don't know what's going on with Tony Storm. Okay, everybody's getting pregnant. Please don't get pregnant. Sorry, I have too much is already out. I don't need anybody else being pregnant. I'm just saying. Anyway, okay, sorry, focus. But with Mina, yeah. So like when Tony got out, they're trying to give her Tony Storm's shot, and it's like, no, this is a bad idea. Then, like you said, they're trying to place her here. This was very much so a really good, really good tag team. I'm not sure to credit Thunder Rosa or just history in the air, but they were very much so fun to watch. And like you said, Divine Dominion needs some people to fight. So I'm all here for this program. Now, should they win? Why not? It's more so Thunder Rosa is why not? Because Thunder Rosa can definitely carry a title, personality, all that jazz. I'm sorry, I wasn't here for the Forbidden Door review. I loved her with her CMLL partner against the Divine Dominion. So Thunder Rosa is just Thunder Rosa. So like yeah, I know it's Tamina, but it feels like Thunder Rosa. They took Thunder Rosa to face Divine Dominion. Now we just gotta find the right partner for Thunder Rosa. Like I said, the girl from CMLL is good. Mina's good. So it's a matter of, I guess, who has the time to stay there is probably the best option for Thunder Rosa. So yeah, this is good. I love it.
Let's see. Tekla had some words. So she comes out to the ramp with the Starlight Kid mask on. She is in her bag at the moment. I mean, God, like, talk about premier promo work like this. Tekla is just, yeah. So she comes out to the ramp, Starlight Kid's mask on, and she says, "Listen up, bitches. Last Sunday, I did exactly what I said I was going to do. I walked in the ring. I burned down Forbidden Door. I beat Starlight Kid. I took her mask. I spit in that mask. And then I had 3 spicy margaritas, went to the strip club, and had Starlight Kid dancing for me all over again." And then she ends the promo with, "Load your gun, bitches, because I'm going to catch that bullet with my teeth and I'm going to spit it right back in your face." So she runs down Starlight Kid, obviously talks about what she did, runs down Stardom some more, and then basically she says, "All In is coming and I am ready for whoever." I thought this was amazing. I mean, like I said, she is in her bag at the moment. I don't know about spitting in the mask and then putting it on your face, but
that's dope. Yeah, I hope you cleaned it before you said. I appreciate you cleaned it. I appreciate you cleaned it.
The comments were great. I thought the lines were great. Took her to the strip club, 3 spicy margaritas. Like, she's just having fun out there, and everything is hitting at the moment. So I'm all in on Tekla at the moment. What do you think of this promo?
No, definitely concur with Tekla. Like, I'm glad they're giving her a live match more. It's like, oh, someone probably just told them, surprise, surprise. Tekla with a live mic will get her more over. Yes. But yeah, her coming out of the mask is so petty. It's so petty. That tells you they gotta do a rematch, right? Like, you just can't be with the girl's mask on. Like, bro, that has to be a rematch. But I'm fairly enjoying Tekla. This is a good way to hype up the gauntlet match for Dynamite. So I'm here for all of this. Give her live mic. Great. What's next step? Live mic on Dynamite. That's the next step for Tekla. Live mic on Dynamite. But yeah, this was fairly entertaining.
I agree. I'm not sure which match he's asking about, but Ariel wants to ask Anika, have you been enjoyed about that match? I don't know if he means annoyed, and I'm not sure I'm a little is so maybe clarify exactly what you're asking.
Yes.
But
yeah.
Much more clear what the question is.
I mean, right now, I've enjoyed all the matches on Collision.
Yeah, right. Then we have what I thought was a weird segment. So this whole Matt
Yeah.
Sydal to AEW with Skyflight is so weird to me. Like, I love
He
Matt
went
Sydal.
back.
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
If you want to come wrestle, by all means, come wrestle. I just does anybody care? I mean, I care because I like Matt Sydal, but like Skyflight does nothing. You come in, you give a little promo, you bring in Matt Sydal, you say it's gonna be. Nobody cares. Skyflight does nothing. Like we don't ever see them. Like what difference does it make? And I understand that, and we can kind of talk about it because we'll talk about Ricochet's demand promos later, but Ricochet keeps mentioning Matt Sydal a little bit, and I guess we'll get Matt Sydal versus Ricochet would be my guess. But like, it's just weird to me, like the way they're hyping this up like it's a big thing, and no one cares about Skyfight or Matt Sydal. Really, when it boils down to it, mostly because you guys don't do anything with them. We would care if you book them and let them wrestle. We don't ever see them. Not even on Collision do we see them really. I mean, so this whole thing is weird. If this is ROH stuff that I'm not aware of because it's behind the paywall and I don't watch, then that's fine. But why are you doing it on Collision? The whole thing is weird to me. What do you think of this?
Agreed. Weird, and then more so, it's like, why? Like you said, if it was an older person, is because I don't want to dump on Mike Sydal, but it's like, okay, if it was Christian coming to Top Flight, okay, cool, right? Because someone has in this interaction, someone has to credit the other person, and we get higher or they get higher. This is an even playing field. No one's getting higher with this interaction. Now, with Top Flight, unfortunately, what you call it? What's the word? Injuries. Sorry, brain fart. Injuries have cost them. They're like they haven't really been on a trajectory, but that's unfortunately with Top Flight, that has been their AEW career. It's just like as soon as we get close, injuries throw it off. But yeah, so like this, and then like the Ricochet. I just heard that. Like, oh, Ricochet is part of this. Okay, cool. See? Okay, there we go. If it was Ricochet going to Top Flight with interaction, okay, that's a little elevation because Ricochet is now being a staple on Dynamite and Collision. But Matt Sydal, I'm like, when he was on screen, I'm like, when did he get that? It's like, when? Why?
What year is this? Is it 2015 again? Like, what year are we in? Even earlier? Like,
yeah. So it's like, if y'all want to put him in the team, cool. Don't see how that's elevating you. No offense to Matt Sydal, but yeah, it is what it is. Sure. If he was gonna be part of the team, I would prefer him as a coach. And it's like Rick Rude during DX, that first couple of weeks, okay, like Rick Rude didn't say anything, but we knew enough about Rick Rude. We're just like, oh shoot, okay, I'm invested. If they had like that, like Matt Sydal, like Top Flight is like they're like, it's like the purity of wrestling, right? So like, if they were in the gym, if they were in training, and you see Matt Sydal on the top rope showing, I guess, Dante how to do the 5-star splash, okay, that would be more interesting. But yeah, we're just doing a promo backstage. No, it's fine.
and now we've done like this is at least the second, if not the third, Matt Sydal Skyflight promo type of situation. Ricochet talked about him twice, and we still haven't seen him wrestle at all. We still haven't seen him do anything. Like,
and with Matt Sydal, wrestling is your slot. Talking's not your slot. Wrestling is your slot.
Exactly. So what are we doing, Tony? But it is what it is. We have AEW, one half of the AEW World Tag Team Champions, Adam Copeland, teaming with Jay White, Austin Gunn, and Colton Gunn of Bang Bang Gang to take on various members of Shane Taylor Promotions. Let's see, Shane Taylor, Lee Moriarty, Carly Bravo, and Sean Dean. And Trish Adora's ringside. And I guess the name here. So there is another woman that has become.
So you asked me this in Discord. When I look back, I'm like, I probably should have texted you back. I don't know, but I'm like, I did not know who that chick. I'm like, I can't help you, wise man. I cannot help you.
So I mean, I've been trying to pay attention and I can't quite catch it, but here in the results, it says with Trisha Dora and Chris CHRISTYANXO. Christy and XO. I don't know if that's her or not. Maybe it is. I'm not sure. I'm thinking it is because they were the only two at ringside. So maybe that's who she is. But yeah. So needless to say, this match was a lot of fun. There was a spot where they superplexed Shane Taylor off the top rope, which, as we all know, Shane Taylor is a big dude. So it took two guys. It was Adam Copeland and maybe Jay White or one of the other guys from Big Bang Gang came over him. And so that was a fun little spot. This is great. I mean, the Adam Copeland and the Bang Bang Gang does get the win over Shane Taylor Promotions. I understand that Shane Taylor Promotions is an ROH mainstay. And I understand that behind the paywall, they get a lot of positive booking. Outside of the paywall, all they do is take losses, unfortunately, which really sucks because I really like Shane Taylor Promotions. That being said, I understand why one half of your tag team champions and the Bang Bang Gang, who is a premier faction, are beating Shane Taylor Promotions. I get it from a booking standpoint. I just want more for Shane Taylor Promotions when they're going to be on. If you're going to put them on Collision or Dynamite, then you got to give them something sometime. We all know how good they are, but watching them lose on a regular basis isn't going to help them get over if the goal is eventually to try to give them more AEW time as opposed to Ring of Honor time. That would be my only contention. That said, fun match. Adam Copeland and them, you get the win. What'd you think of all this?
I echo everything you said. Jay White's back. It's just like guys. Okay. Maybe it's just me, but okay, I'm a production girl. So when they do the Bang Bang Gang entrance, it's like, why is there a shadow on when the lights go up? There's still a shadow on Jay White. I'm like, what? It's like do we need a back? They need to, you need a backup or something. I'm like this is so annoying to me. We're just like, I get it, you want the fake light glow, but it should be a fake light right in the face of Jay White. I'm like, can we please? We've done this entrance better. So I'm like, can we get this is Jay White coming back? So this is the first. Okay, I'm sorry. All right, I'll proceed. But yes, no, and then. They're teaming up with Adam Copeland, which was very good. I agree with you about Shane Taylor Productions, where it is a catch-22. We're just like, yes, them being on TV should be definitely all the time, but credibility, like this is one of the annoying things about wrestling is where it's like when the what's the word? When the creator, we call it the creative director, has amnesia about how to hype up a group, where it's like, oh, they're on TV, that's enough. No, it's not, and you know it's not. You know wins and losses matter. That's why certain people don't be losing all the doggone time. Case in point, okay, Don Callis family, the top four, they don't lose all the time, and you know this. Now, I'm not trying to compare the Don Callis family to Trisha Productions, but if you're going to put them in this space of being leveled up, they have to beat somebody. They have to win something. So yes, I agree with you there. But this was a very, very fun match. It is very see Jay White's back. I'm like everything's right with the world. Everything is so right with the doggone world. And I love the last sequence of it was very weird. The last sequence of Adam Copeland doing the spear and then Jay White doing the hidden blade, right?
No, the switchblade.
Switchblade. There's so many blades. Yeah, the switchblade. But then he's lying on the dude and then just staring into Adam Copeland's eyes. I'm like, okay, get a room. Like, what are we doing? What I didn't need both of y'all lying on your stomach, staring at each other during the 1, 2, 3. That was hilarious to me. But no, I love this. This was very much so good. This was very entertaining. Where it's like you're like just give Chase more wins.
This is one of my bones of contention with AEW and wrestling in general. Is you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Wins and losses do matter, and for years, WWE, WCW, TNA, whoever it is you're talking about, didn't care. And then AEW came along, and AEW, when they very first formed, gave people a record. They showed you're 1-0, you're 2-0, and they had the little chart, and it was like, oh,
Yeah.
you're going to climb up the chart. If you've got 5 wins, you get a match against so and so. I don't know if everyone remembers that, but that was the beginning of AEW. And I was
Yes,
so
yes, it
excited
was.
because I was like, finally, we have rankings. Like winning actually matters. The guy that's 4th on the list gets a shot at the guy that's 3 or 2 on the list. Those kind of, and you can actually see like, I want to win because I'm on the list. We're all on the list, and I want a chance at what you have. And I thought that was a phenomenal way to propose to do. And then it went away essentially. I mean, then now every once in a while we see what a wrestler's record is, and when they win, 50 AEW matches, it's a big deal. But other than that, I mean, they don't. They've stopped caring. All that stuff about wins and losses went right out the window, very quickly. So.
Yeah.
Let's see. Also, let's see. Ariel wants to know how we feel about Persephone.
Sir, we're gonna talk about that later. But so last week, the match to do TBS was so good, and Persephone was the star of that match. I know. I'm glad she's doing a dual contract with Team LL and AEW because still don't trust AEW like that to hype up the person. But yeah, Persephone was that chick in last week's match. She was to the point where it's just like they get so she the one, and it was like, why is that Persephone? Like, you could put on Persephone and just let it just ride out, but all right, here's the video. But yeah, I love Persephone. Persephone, she has it, in my opinion. She does.
I agree. I feel like there were a couple of people coming out of Mexico that were kind of big female stars that ended up getting kind of picked up per se, but like kind of whatever. And Stephanie Becerra ended up with WWE, and Persephone has been now made her way kind of to AEW, and I'm happy for that. I mean, I'm happy for AEW to have her in the mix. I like Persephone. I think she's a very solid wrestler. So I think her future. I don't know how much we'll see her. They need her. The women's division is struggling. I mean, other than Tekla, being a solid champion, she hasn't had a whole lot of great women to wrestle. So her win has been a little underwhelming just because of the competition level, or the way they booked the competition level hasn't been great. So, I mean, more women, the better. I mean, a match with Persephone against Tekla would be a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy to see Persephone in AEW, and I hope she gets more time. So let's see. We get Willow, who says, "I won the Owen."
Okay. Wait. So remember, after the match, we have what you call it? Who's people that? We had the dogs come out, and then we had the Death Riders come out to beat up Adam Copeland and the Bang Bang Gang.
Yeah, and right. I forgot about that.
And I brought it up because I'm like, hold up, wait. Ain't possibly supposed to be a good guy with Osprey. Why is Death Riders out here? I need y'all to pick a lane. And I love the Death Riders. Y'all are my dudes, and my chick. But y'all cannot do this. Y'all cannot flip flop like this. And this is not winners. This is y'all being a straight up bad guy, beating up the good guys that just and you have to come out of this match. And you're not gonna play this match. So there's no reason for you to come out here. Now granted, I get Gay Kid say he's a dog and a Death Rider. But that is me. We had to prove that now. So that was like, bruh, what are we doing? I mean,
Yeah, no, I totally forgot about that. No, and David Finley laying out Jay White with the shillelagh. So
Lately.
yeah, I mean, clearly this is further ramping up the Death Riders and Dogs versus the Bang Bang Gang, and I'm here for all of that. So no, I thought this was fun, as well as continuing, I guess, ultimately the Dogs / Death Riders versus Adam Copeland and Christian Cage as well. The Cage and Copeland are holding the titles that everybody wants, right? Both the Bang Bang Gang
Yeah.
indirectly would love to be World Tag Team Champions, even though they're kind of siding with Copeland at the moment. And clearly, the Death Riders and / the Dogs want all the gold and their teams, no matter what, right? In their camps. Um, so yeah, no, I mean, I thought that the ending of the match was fun too. I mean, as fun as it can be seeing Jay White get laid out by a shillelagh. I mean, I'm here for it. I mean, I think it works well. It
Yeah.
hypes everything up. So, all right. So, as I tried to skip past that, let's get to Willow. Willow is talking about how when she won the Owen, there wasn't a shot at the World Championship. There is now, and since there has been, she got close but wasn't able to win the Owen. But she's back. She's focused and she wants an AEW World Title match, and she wants to be AEW Women's World Champion. So I think we're ultimately going to get her versus Tekla at some point here, because right now I don't see anybody else that they position to really wrestle Tekla. And they've been hyping up Willow. She's back. I mean, I get you can always get Mercedes because she's Mercedes, so you can always hype that up. Um, and they've done a couple things with Maya World to kind of give her a little hype, but nobody's thinking that Maya World's beating Tekla. She just barely had 2 upset wins to kick
Yeah.
off her career a
Yeah.
month ago, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
even though she's getting a lot of push and all those kinds of things, there really isn't anybody other than Mercedes and Willow to really challenge Tekla at the moment. So I'm here for that. I'm glad Willow's back, and let's see what ends up happening. What do you think of Willow's promo?
This was cool. This was good. Willow is Willow. I do wish that they would have not done this before the gauntlet. It took the surprise of Willow coming back out of it. It was just like you didn't have to tell us Willow was coming back. That was just like leave some prizes to be a surprise. And it's like it's Dynamite. Like we want to watch Dynamite for Dynamite's sake. So you didn't have to hype up Willow coming back in the gauntlet, especially what we went later in the women's gauntlet. You didn't have another surprise. Like it was all women that we knew or we were already excited for. You know what I'm saying? Or like, it wasn't like a big. So it's like that would have been good to have a huge comeback, like just to be a surprise. So like it was fine, but yeah, me personally, I'm like you didn't have to do this. Like you could just do it after she comes back. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. This was a little bit of it ruined the moment a little bit. Let's put it that way. The moment wasn't her coming back,
right?
On
it
the
dipped it down.
In the gauntlet. That's the moment, not this little promo. But that being said, I thought the promo itself was fine. Willow's a good talker, so the promo came off fine.
Yes.
I do feel some kind of way. It does feel some kind of way, right? That when she won the Owen, the shot at the title wasn't a thing, and now it is, and it's like that kind of sucked because she could add a shot. I mean, not that she would have necessarily won at that point in time. I mean, maybe she would have, but
yeah. But no. Yeah. Mercedes Moné has a title shot cutting because she won the Owen. So yeah, no. So yeah. Willow winning. Even when she was in there, I was not 100% sure she was gonna win, but it does feel like now it's like, oh, that was gonna be a thing. That's cool, but yeah. Sorry. So, yeah.
Yeah, no. Let's see. Then we had another match, a women's match for the #1 spot in the Casino Gauntlet on Dynamite, coming up for Beach Break that we'll get to. This was Athena, Ring of Honor Women's World Champion, versus Stardom's Arena, who I don't really have any experience with, don't know a whole lot about. And again, one of Anika's pet peeves, no kind of like intro on who these people are, no kind of. We need a video package. We need something to let us know who these people are a little bit so that we have some sort of vested interest in this. That being said, I mean, solid match, but the idea that Athena probably wasn't winning this, I mean, I had this at like 99% that Athena was going to probably get the win here, as she did. And she will be the number one entrant in the gauntlet match that we will talk about on Beach Break when we review it. What do you think about her beating Rena here for the number one spot?
No, totally agree with you. Where it's just like more so when like if it we call it if it's a less than 5 minute match, then fine, don't tell us. But this was a good match. We're just like, yes, if I don't know, give me invested. But needless to say, this was a very good match. Especially like she was in the gauntlet, the girl. So it's just like just a little bit. Just like isn't I'm not sure who I wasn't WWE did it. We're just like them when they walk to the wrestling match. That 30-second intro. Hi, I'm Adika, and I am from New Japan. I am from Stardom. I'm here to whoop I beat everyone's behind. But now I'm AEW whoop some more butt, and I'm coming for Athena. Fast. Okay, it could be that fast. But needless to say, this was a very good match. I appreciate that Athena is off of my pay. It's not like being behind a paywall. That like let's call space. No offense. How people are still paying for the paywall? Like we're not on a time crunch, but we do have to have a conversation of, why is there a bunch of like just put on YouTube, dude. Just put it on YouTube. I'm just saying. But no, I am very glad Athena is on my TV screen doing matches because this match was so good. It was a Athena special of hard hitting, and old girl was giving it to Athena. I appreciate that out the wazoo. But Athena wins, and she is the first to be in the gauntlet, and so that means she's on Dynamite. And I'm like, yeah, I'm here for all of this. Yes.
Yes. Kyle Fletcher has a lot to say about ELP and Takeshita. He says he's getting ready to face Takeshita at Beach Break, but first he has ELP tonight. He says when he wrestled ELP before, he was a young boy, but now he's going to get to show ELP the man he has become. He says that ELP, El Phantasmo, and Takeshita are friends, and unfortunately, Kyle Fletcher knows what it's like to be friends with Takeshita. He says that, but he says it hurts to be close to Takeshita. And he basically says that Takeshita should enjoy his last few days with the international title because at Beach Break, the belt belongs to him. What do you think of this promo by Kyle Fletcher?
This was a good promo, especially ELP, a little bit of a name change, and he was El Phantasma. So it's like I'm glad. Like when people come back, you either going to go the name change and just start from ground one, or not, because like you do need a little bit of incentive to be like, hey, hype up the match. We're just like we just talked about. Wait, if you don't know who the dude is, how much invested can you get in the match? Now, so this was a good hype up of the match tonight. So I bravo to Kyle Fletcher for hyping up the match in the main event. We're just like, okay, that's why I'm invested. ELP, El Phantasma. He's from Takeshita. We're into Takeshita versus Fletcher. That's why it's going to be a bigger main event. So it hit all the points supposed to hit to hype up the match. So, and Fletcher, he's getting ready to be a champion. World AEW World Heavyweight Champion. And I say that because like everything, he's been improving in everything. The physique, him talking on the mic. I remember the first time, the first couple of promos with him on the mic. I'm like, no, screaming a lot. I can't stand his voice. Make it stop. But no, like he has improved immensely, and I'm like when we gonna do it? When we putting the belt on him? But this was a good promo.
Yeah, I agree. Kyle Fletcher is definitely in his bag at the moment.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, he's. I know he's still young, so I guess there's this feeling of there's a lot of time, but he's ready. I mean, he's ready in the way that you've booked him. He's ready to be in that main event picture, even if he's not beating a Kenny Omega or an MJF or yet he's ready to be in that picture. I mean, beating them for a championship. He's ready to be in that picture at the moment. So. Um, yeah, Speedball, Mike Bailey, Ring of Honor World Champion Bandito, and one half of the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions, Mystico, are taking on the Rascals, Desmond Xavier, Zachary Wentz, and Myron Reed, the Young Goats. That's right. In a very fun match. Um, all 6 guys are amazing wrestlers, as you would imagine. There were some very good spots in this high octane 4th gear to begin with, 5th gear by the end. All these things. Mystico is fun. The only complaint that I have about this whole match, is the intro. I love Mystico. The song doesn't work for professional wrestling. I'm sorry. You can't have that slow a song and that it just doesn't hype people up enough. It just doesn't, in my opinion. Now I understand there's some Mystico gets to play his song, so there's this whole part of the crowd that's excited because he gets to play that song, but it's this song just it deflates the energy for me. But beyond that, I thought the match was amazing. Speedball, Mystico, and Bandito do get the win. Again, I'm not totally sure what exactly we're doing with the Rascals. I mean, I understand that Mystico and Bandito are Ring of Honor champions. I get that. And that Mystico is the most decorated, wrestler in the history of Mexico and the greatest of all, one of the greatest of all time. You brought the Rascals here to be a solid faction that needs to get wins, and you're having them lose to a Frankenstein trio of guys that are solid wrestlers. Really, the chemistry of the Rascals being a trio should always be beating a Frankenstein trio because they wrestle together, they have chemistry, they know what they're doing, they're a team. So, I mean, depending on who it is, of course, but for the most part, 99% of the time, they should be beating any Frankenstein trio. And I'm not sure why they're not competing against the conglomeration for those trios championships yet and why they're not being booked that way. So, they're a natural trio that should be booked that way. You have trios titles. Why? I don't understand exactly what's going on. So needless to say, they did take the loss here. I'm a little confused about that, but the match itself was very solid. What do you think of this?
Yeah, no, I concur. Everything. I'm just gonna echo it out. That bigger. More so, no. More so. This is a good match. Great match. These 3, great. Speedball Mike Bailey, man. It really feels like they chose between Kevin Knight and Speedball, and then Speedball just got the short end of the stick. And that Kevin Knight didn't deserve to get chose, but it was we can't do 2 dudes at a time. We couldn't do 2 dudes together. That's what it feels like. We're just so we're pushing Kevin Knight, so Speedball just gets off. We're just gonna just put him in random matches. It's just bruh, we were doing so good with hyping both dudes up, and now it's just now you're just back drop kick to the back, and I don't like that. And what.
I'm just laughing.
Oh, yeah. But no, and then I said, I just echo you about the Rascals. We're just you never knew. We Trios division is not even a division anymore. You need a new person to kind of hype it up, right there. But you keep when's the last time they won? Bro, okay, what are we doing? And just won every match, but dang, you don't lose this consecutively either. there's a fine balance to this. Just say, and like with that, it's like it is what it is at this point. And I guess like I, I guess Speedball more than anybody needs it more. So cool. Then I'm glad then Deto's on the winning streak. Yay! Like at least that. But yeah, this is a good match, but we gotta do better by these people. Yeah.
It definitely felt like they chose Kevin Knight over Speedball Mike Bailey, and it feels like part of that might be because I mean, Kevin Knight has much more personality, right? Like Kevin Knight
Yeah.
he's a better talker. He's got more personality. He's got a little bit more charisma, a little more swag. Like Speedball is he's a solid wrestler, but he's very bland on the microphone. Like he's not there's nothing exciting beyond the wrestling part of Speedball Mike Bailey at this point, unfortunately. So I think that's why they went with Kevin Knight. But yeah, I mean, that still doesn't they still should have something for him beyond just random matches. Unfortunately, I'm afraid that this is probably going to be his fate with AEW, which is just random matches here and there, and it is what it is. And he's going to have to make a decision on whether he wants to continue to do that at some point. So, but we'll see what ends up being his fate. But yes, I mean, I want more for Mike Bailey. I like Speedball Mike Bailey. All right.
Yeah.
Divine Dominion says, "Where have all the tag teams gone? You guys put together these Frankenstein foreigners from overseas, and they still come in and get the same outcome. They get beat. It doesn't matter whether it's Thunder Rosa and Olympia. We'll beat them just the same way we've beaten everybody else in the tag team division." And Megan Bain leaves them with, "You might as well wrestle us from your knees because it will make it that much easier for you to bow down." So Divine, I mean, they're not wrong. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Divine Dominion, but they're not wrong. I mean, AEW has done nothing to put those titles in jeopardy. They have booked nobody. They have pushed nobody as a female tag team to make us think that anybody's going to be taking those titles anytime soon. And it is what it is. What do you think of this?
Very good promo. Everything you said. So who is Megan Bain's partner's name again?
Lena Cross.
Lena Cross. I gotta learn her name because I actually do love her. I think she's better on the mic than Megan Bain. So Lena Cross. I'm gonna put that in my. I think she's really better on the mic, and her personality is there to, do whatever you want to do with her. Again, I don't like choosing people over the other person. But like we were doing something with Megan Bain, but like we lifted our foot off the gas for whatever reason, and I'm hoping this is a sign of things to come, because when you're like there's no one else out there, it's like, okay, that means someone's coming out there, right, to give them a proper program. So like, they are the champions. They do like, bruh, what are we doing? We just putting towels on people and just let them go about the business, and that should not be the case. So good program. I just hope this is a system of what is to come.
I agree. Next, we have a squash match. Roosh destroys Jordan Cruz. We've seen this, and I don't know what the point is. Like, we've talked about Roosh in the past. Roosh has been running over everybody now for what, 3 months, 4 months now, and yet still nothing, right? Like, I guess I don't understand what the point is of making Roosh look super strong. And then when you do give him, he's had a couple important matches in that time, but he's lost them, right? Like, I think he lost to the last big match that he had, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to remember who it was even with. But it feels like you've been positioning him, hyping him up for something big, and yet nothing's really happened. I know that this sounds terrible because wrestling does this all the time. They love to stick people of the same races with each other. But for some reason, in my mind, it feels like a sweet spot for Roosh would be with Andrade. Andrade and Roosh together
They were
would
in
be
a
a
team
lot of
up.
fun. And I
Yeah.
don't just say that because they're both Latinos and they're both whatever. There's something about them that seems like they would work together. They could either be the beginning of a new faction of some sort, bring back LFI, whatever the case may be, something like that, a tag team. But the idea of them working together. And in AEW, there's strength in numbers. Everyone is factioned up for the most part, right? And these guys aren't, and I'm wondering if you can put them together with some other guys and get them a little faction, if that wouldn't give them a little bit more push in the creative room.
They had a faction. It was called LFI. I don't know why I forgot
I can't hear you. I'm not sure if it just. Say that again.
They had a faction. It was called LFI. They were together with a third person with their assistant Jose. That's too loud. You still can't hear me?
I don't know if you're cutting out, but.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'll come
again.
again.
I can hear you.
I was screaming too loud. I'm sorry. They had a faction. It was LFI. They had the assistant Jose. It was a third one up in there. But for some reason, we just forgot about that. And it was, I'm like, what? Okay, so I don't know why. I get Andrade was with the Don Callis family and now he's free. But yeah, I would love if they would just rev that back up. Where it's just like they kind of did when Ruth was going up against MJF. It's like this is why history is so important. Where you can have, if you need to, you can tap into that and build something up. So totally agree about Roosh, where it's like, I guess is this Roosh program where until we need him, we're just gonna let him squash people. At one point in time that gets old. Where it's like we do have to do something different. So I hope that's not the program because after a certain time we gotta do something. We gotta do something different to hype someone up.
No, I agree with that. Completely agree with that. All right, here comes Hook with a horrible hair. With Hook's hair, like seriously, like come on, man. So Hook, Shibata, and Bowens are there. Hook says Bandito has been very impressive, but not as impressive as Shibata, who's on a 19-match winning streak. Did anybody know that? I love Shibata. I absolutely love Shibata. Did anybody have any idea that he's won 19 matches in a row? No, nobody knew. So let's see. He wants Shibata to take the Ring of Honor World Title from Bandito in the 20th match. Bowens chimes in and says everyone should applaud because they're killers, and he began to clap. Hook basically stopped him, shook his head, and then walked off. They're not here for Anthony Bowens' outward kind of, I guess, pandering to the crowd, I suppose is how Hook and them would see it. But I mean, it's God. I want Joe. Like, where's Joe? I'm sorry, but this group, I'm a big Shibata fan. I absolutely love Shibata. And Hook, I haven't been quiet about my issues with Hook. Bowens is solid for what he is, but this is now. And it might even be a little worse, honestly. But this is reaching Bang Bang Gang without Jay White kind of status, without Samoa
we're there.
Around. Like that's
we're
what it
there.
feels like. So, and maybe not even as good because I mean, the Bang Bang Gang, Juice Robinson might be a little bit better than some of the supporting cast that's there. When you call it. So, when Joe's gone, right? So, that being said, this promo is what it is. Shibata versus again. What do we care on AEW Collision about what's going on with the Ring of Honor World Title behind the paywall. Why is this on Collision when it's not going to be on Collision, right? I don't imagine the match is going to be on Collision.
Yeah.
It's going to be on Ring of Honor, I'm sure. So we're not going to get to see it. And what do we care? Even if Shibata wins the belt, what does that do? That does nothing for the ops in AEW. And really, I mean, it doesn't. So, yeah, the whole thing is weird to me. What do you think of this?
Totally agree. Again, echo the same sentiment. I appreciate them trying to put a storyline up in here where it was like, okay, this is why there's confrontation between Hook and brain fart. Anthony Bowens because they think he's show offy, and it's like, okay, fine. But yeah, besides that, unless you're putting in no offense, but yeah, Ring of Honor is at a place where besides Athena, there's no added incentive to watch it. And like I said, I hope that is the plan. Where we're gonna do a Ring of Honor match on at least Collision. Like, okay, cool. But if not, all right, cool. What you call it? They got TV time. Cool. Cause I'm not gonna say lost cause, but Hook, I don't see getting back to that high spot he was back in 2022, 2023. I just don't see it. I don't. Unless it was a dramatic change, which I don't see it is. So, but Anthony Bowen, I still have hope for. So, for Anthony Bowen's sake, I do hope that we get this at least to a fair ground until Joe gets back. At least like just make it till Joe gets back.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Next, we had another match for the second spot in the gauntlet. We know Athena won the match earlier for the number 1 spot. This is for the number 2 spot. Maya World versus Triangle of Madness member Julia Hart. And what was a very solid match. I thought this was really good. I thought Julia Hart looked really good. I'm not always impressed with Julia Hart. For me, sometimes she's hit or miss, as is Sky Blue. I'm often not overly impressed with either of them. But
yeah.
I thought Julia Hart was good here. And I'm happy to see Maya World get another win. Finally, they've taken someone that they've pushed a little bit and they're actually letting her continue to rise. Like, you give her what felt like 2 upset victories, but then you also push her and show how good she is, and now she gets another win. I know it's only Julia Hart, but it's a big win because Julia Hart has a name. She's been around in AEW for a while.
Yeah.
She's done a lot of stuff. She's been a title holder in the past. So it's another big win on the belt of Maya World, and good for her. And her versus Athena to open the gauntlet is nice and juicy. I'm here for that. So I'm very excited. I was happy to see Maya get this win, and I thought this was a good match. I was impressed with Julia, and I was really impressed with Maya World. And I have been really impressed with Maya World. So what do you think of this and Maya World getting that number 2 spot in the gauntlet?
No, I echo everything you said, and I am very it's correct. So correct me if I'm wrong. Maya World came from Stardom. Was her contract up? Like, is he I don't think we got the AEW Elite sign for Maya just yet, but I wouldn't be mad if they do that now. But no, I've been enjoying Maya thoroughly. Where it's just like, yeah. So like, unfortunately, when she upset Sky Blue, that was a name only. Because we knew, only because we knew Sky Blue more is because we called it upset. But when she battled Athena, I'm like, oh, she can actually wrestle. Like, okay, now we're coming with some gas. And then when she faced Mercedes Moné, like, oh, she can actually wrestle. Okay, so now we can back her properly and get her hyped up. And to that degree, with her and Julia, we like Sky Blue. She had 1 or 2 good matches that weren't no disqualification. But we've seen Julia be great. Like again, after she got hurt, unfortunately, not sure how to get you back to. We're still trying to get her back there, but at least we've seen Julia be a better version of Julia she is for the past couple of months. And this was a good expression of, oh, okay, she's still there. Julia's still there. Julia can still wrestle, and sometimes it just may be finding the right partner to wrestle, or just like someone who can take you through a good match. And this was Maya took it through a good match. This was really good on both their parts. So I'm very excited for Maya, and I'm very glad they are keeping up with her trajectory. Yes.
Yeah. Um, I agree with all of that. So, yeah. Let's see. They gave us a little preview of the big matches coming up for Beach Break. I'm not going to get into that because we're going to talk about that in just a couple minutes, but that does bring us to our main event of the show. It is Kyle Fletcher. Still don't know his full name. Not going to say it even if I do. Versus ELP, El Phantasmo of New Japan fame. We have seen El Phantasmo before in AEW. We have
Yes.
seen him wrestle before. These two do have
Yes.
history. So if if you pay it all, or if you know what's going on in New Japan, if you know the history of Kyle Fletcher, you know a little bit about what's happened between these two in the past, so on and so forth. But this was an extremely good match. ELP is a fun guy to watch wrestle. He's one of my favorite New Japan guys. So when he comes over, I'm very excited. I just selfishly, because I don't watch New Japan, I'd love to see him get more AEW time. That being said,
Yeah.
he's been in New Japan for a long time, and that's probably where he's happy in the sweet spot, all those things. So, but I love seeing him over here in the States and in the AEW ring. Unfortunately, as you would kind of imagine, because his momentum is in fifth gear at the moment, Kyle Fletcher with the sheer drop brainbuster does get the victory. And after this comes to the ring and wants to talk about how Takeshita betrayed family. There's no lower form of scum than a guy that betrays his family, and that is Takeshita. And that on Wednesday they're going to take everything from Takeshita, and he called him a scumbag piece of garbage, which was enough for Takeshita as he kind of made his way out, and Don Callis and them ran like the little rodents that they are. And
Mm-hmm.
this was the end of Collision, basically leading up to Takeshita versus Fletcher for the International Championship at Beach Break. So I thought this was a very solid match. I mean, I'm always disappointed when a guy that I think is super talented like ELP, um, it kind of plays what feels like, you know, is not the focus of what's going on. The focus here is Fletcher and Takeshita, and he's kind of a secondary thought, a third wheel. You know what I mean? Just kind of whatever.
Yeah.
Fought, and so that's a little disappointing. I want ELP to get his own, an ELP storyline. To be fair, he's not a AEW guy. He's a New Japan guy. So a story for him is not realistic. I get that, but there has to be a little bit more. Like I know that we're familiar with ELP, but other than the fact that they've wrestled before and that Fletcher wants to prove now how far he's evolved. Why is this match really happening? Like I understand Phantasm, ELP, and Takeshita are friends, so there's that connection, I guess. And he's taking out one of Takeshita's friends, but we're not New Japan people like that, so that doesn't really resonate for us like that. So
Yeah.
why exactly are we having this match? I love the match. The match is fine. It's all great, but why exactly are we doing this? And it's disappointing as an Al Phantasmo fan that he comes over and takes that loss. That being said, great match, great end to the show, and I'm here for Takeshi. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. I thought this was an amazing episode of Collision. There were a couple things that I thought were a little odd. I'm not, the whole let's see. There were a couple of things that I'm trying to blank on. I was a little confused why the Rascals lost. I was a little confused on why whatchamacallit, why Matt Seidel and Skyflight are on talking at all to a certain extent, why this is even a thing. But beyond those two small things, the wrestling was absolutely incredible. It was a longer show, it was like 2.5 hours. I'm gonna give this a B plus. I thought this was a really good episode of Collision, so I'm gonna give it a B plus. What do you think of the main event, the match, the post match stuff, and then give the show a grade and an overall reaction to the show?
So cram all of it in, dang. No, no. This was a good match. I remember El Phantasma from the Panorama age, and I was like, he was one of those people where I wish could have came out of there a bigger star. Not sure why, what happened with him, but the case of Ross, he's back. So he's now going under ELP, right? So evidently, I'm not sure. Like the crowd. Okay. But no, I say that because he's doing the RVD thing where he's saying ELP, and the crowd's actually behind him. So I'm like, oh, okay. I appreciate that. Where like you said, we kind of knew that he's not winning this, but I like just getting him TV time and getting to see how the crowd's behind him is enough for me. We're just like, okay, hopefully we're building to something, because as you can see, he is right. Whereas like the crowd didn't have to go with him. The crowd didn't have to say it. Like, I didn't know how, unless that was his hometown, I didn't be sure how they knew how to say it. But it was like, but it was very much so. But I thoroughly enjoyed it, where these two actually had good chemistry. Cal Fletcher's back. He's trying to reclaim his crown as best television wrestler. He's off to a great start. But yeah, the great match, of course, to catch the wins, and of course, Cal Fletcher wins, and Cal Fletcher being the great TV wrestler of the year, he's in the running. He got the competition, but he's getting his wins up. And then to that note, then the show goes off. Catcher comes out with his cute little fit on. Yeah, whatever. But I agree. This was a very good Collision where it felt more focused. Like sometimes Collision didn't get a good grade because it feels all over the place. But this was actually a focused Collision. I appreciate that. Yeah, we didn't have a couple of bad spots where just like the governing segment, it was cool, but it's just a report on things to come. Yeah, Matt Seidel out there. We need more concrete stuff with that. But no, this was a solid Collision from front to back. And we had enough star power as well with Adam Copeland and Jay White on Collision as well. So it was like, guys, it was very much so well-rounded. So I'm going to give it a solid B. I'm going to give it a solid B. I'm going to give it a solid B.
Wow. So I gave it a B plus, Anika gave it a B. That brings us to the end of our Collision review. That means we're going to switch gears and let Anika take the helm and take us through Dynamite's Beach Break. Let me put the date up for you. Hold on, I'll put it up.
Thank you. Okay. That's okay. That's it. Hi, I'm Anika. This is Dynamite from this is Beach Break. This is last July. Last July. Yes. And this one, last one. From the 8th. July 8th, last week. Last Dynamite from last Wednesday. Right. And this is Beach Break. There's a whole lot on the line. Where it's like, it really was to the point of, dang, y'all do realize we have redemption coming in 2 weeks. Did y'all really have to go this full throttle? But suffice to say, y'all did, and it was very much so turned up. We start backstage with Renee Paquette interviewing Kenny Omega, and this is a hype up of this match. If Kenny wins, he's champion, but if he loses, he does not go for the AEW World Championship anymore. And Kenny was like, as cliche as it is, this is the biggest match of my life. The AEW World Championship means everything to me. That's why I have my. What is his partner's name though behind him?
Michael Nakazawa.
I did not want to get it wrong. Listen. If you don't know, don't embarrass yourself. But Mike, we haven't seen Mike in a minute. Like we haven't seen him in a great Kenny comes in and out, but it was like for him to be out there, it really was like, oh shoot, y'all putting some real stakes on this, but he's like, I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna be the best wrestler, like as always, and then send off good night, mwah, good night, sorry, good night, mwah, and goodbye, say. So, yeah, it's very hard. Yeah, I agree with you. I get some of it, I can remember it, but
The words.
I appreciate this where like I think we all knew the severity of it. Again, all right, so we weren't here last week. Last week, MJF challenges Kenny Omega to this match. He loses. He can't face the world title anymore. It's crazy to do this stat again because we just did it with Hangman. Or just like, dang, what the fuck are we doing? It did like when you put that on there. In my opinion, you kind of are saying that Kenny's going to win. Like, it's not 100. It's not even like 75%. But I put more of it's like I don't think we're doing it 3 times. In my opinion, I don't think we're doing it 3 times. That's just me. But this interview did, like just in case you forgot, this is how big this match is. So I do appreciate that. It was cool. It was cool. It did what it needed to do. It was hype of the main event. Your thoughts?
I like this. I thought this was a little bit different than what we normally get. It was kind of a stripped down, stoic, quiet Kenny Omega kind of. All I have in my corner right now is Michael Nakazawa. My back's against the wall. Everything's against me, but it's not going to be easy. If you do it, I'll shake your hand and say good job. But you got to remember, I am Kenny by God Omega, and So I mean, I like this. I thought this was really good. I agree with you. You when you have the premier wrestlers in the world putting their opportunity for a title on the line, it doesn't. It's unbelievable. Future titles, future shots. As it is, I can't believe that they did it with Hangman, let alone do it again with Kenny Omega after we've already done this before with Cody Rhodes, right? So it's like, I mean, and I agree with you. You're not going to do it 3 times. So I thought that the stipulation took too much of the unpredictability of this match, too much of the unpredictability out of this match. We'll get to it when we get to it. But this was a solid Kenny promo. I mean, I thought Kenny was fine here. I liked that it wasn't too over the top. He wasn't yelling. He wasn't, he was just kind of stoic Kenny. This is what I got to do, and I'm going to go out there and do the best that I can. So, yeah, I thought this was good.
No, I agree. All right, but this is Dynamite. We're going to get if we do a little bit of promo, we're going right into a wrestling match. And the first match of the night was Ciampa versus Chris Jericho. Let's get this match over with and Ciampa out of this doggone vortex. So Ciampa comes out, and I love this theme song. I just my shadow knows my soul. It's like that's the hype of, and it's so Ciampa. He comes out, and so he goes to the ring. He goes back, and he hides by the what you call it, by the stage to get the one up on Jericho. But evidently Jericho, either he knew he was gonna do that, or he just said, "Hey, I want to go through the ring, through the crowd to get to the ring." So Jericho comes out. He sees Ciampa hiding, and in classic New Jack form, they had the music still playing Judas, where he starts beating up on Ciampa, and he's a suplex to the lawn chair, and that. We know wrestling, there's tactics of how to not injure somebody, but like how Ciampa led it, it's like, okay, you gotta do that right. I really don't know because I really it hurt, but it was gnarly. And so then you have Jericho start help with the crowd, which was very, sir, we're already singing. I don't have how hype because you want it to be, especially it's Florida. It's the sun is still out. Give us a minute to get cooled off. Just saying. But either way, the match continues. I'm not sure if this is no qualification because like some shenanigans happened, but nothing like there was a chair shot, but it was like standing in the face. But I wasn't sure. But anyway, one of the gnarliest spots was Ciampa does this inverted suplex onto the stairs, and I just woo. What was it? Like, okay, I know Jericho's stomach is messed up because that hurt. That hurt. And as soon as that happens, the blood is coming. Here comes the blood back. But like I wasn't. Let's just say I wasn't nervous about these two wrestling together because Ciampa's great, and even though Jericho has been insufferable sometimes, he is still professional. But this was a very good wrestling match. This was so good, and then the ending with like the knee to the faces was just like, okay, I guess Jericho wanted to get a little physical, but I'm not. He's gonna be here. I'm not mad at it. Yeah, the ending was Jericho had Ciampa in the Wild with Jericho. Ciampa gets one of the sand buckets and hits Jericho in the face, sand in the eye, knee to the face, 1, 2, 3, Ciampa wins. Yes. Because listen, when you're facing Jericho, you never know. You never know. So I'm glad Ciampa wins. At the end, he hits Jericho with a chair. He has a powered screwdriver, and but the people come out to stop him. So I'm like, Ciampa's crazy. So when you that level of crazy, there's a level of, well, is he going to do it or not? But then like they push him off. He goes off the ring. He puts a stupid little flotation device on the thing. It feels like this is the end. It feels like, oh, I'm hoping, but it does. Like usually some Jericho matches, you can see like, oh crap, we're not done with this. It does feel like we're done with this, and I am hoping for it. But this was a very good match, a very good opener to Beach Break. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, this for me was not. I mean, I didn't like this. So here's my issue with it. My issue with it is severalfold. One, I don't like Chris Jericho. So anytime I have to watch Chris Jericho, I'm disappointed. Two, I don't like this for Tommaso Ciampa. I want more for Tommaso Ciampa. I thought the way he came in, even though we can debate whether someone should come in and win a title within their first week or first match and then company or not, that's always debatable. But I thought he came in like, a house of fire, and now he's whatever he is, right? So, and what I also don't like is I don't like the way the match started. I don't like the idea that Chris Jericho is smarter than Tommaso Ciampa. Like, Ciampa tries to blindside him, but Chris Jericho, because he's Jericho, is always smarter than you, and fuck him. So he comes to the ring and gets away from Ciampa. And I get tired of this idea that Chris Jericho is the thinking man's wrestler. He's one of the greatest of all time, and he's Chris Jericho, and he's smarter than everybody else. And fuck you. I hate this guy. So, that all that being said, I'm happy that Ciampa got the win. I'm very happy that Ciampa got the win. I'm not as optimistic as you are. I don't think Chris Jericho likes taking losses and then just disappearing. So my guess is he going to want a second shot at Ciampa? And I don't like the way it ended with Ciampa going after Jericho post-match. It feels like that just adds fuel to Jericho wanting to come back and try and get his receipt again. Like, you attacked me after the match. It wasn't enough for you to just keep me. Now I have to, you know what I'm saying? So I don't think this is over, unfortunately. And I'm disappointed in that. So at the match itself, the wrestling I thought was okay, as far as Ciampa looked great, and Jericho, still can move for a 60-year-old guy that's, shouldn't be in the ring anymore, in my opinion. But that being said, it is what it is. So, but I don't like this in general. I don't like the way they booked this, and I don't like this feud for Ciampa.
Understandable. I get it. Right? So after this, we get a video vignette of we're in a bar. Okay, you very specific. We're in a pub, and we have a England brand tea just gelling over the place. There's two chicks that beat the crap out of people. It's the Brawling Birds. So I guess they're coming back. Why? All in London. Surprise, surprise. So I guess that's the match for Divine Dominion. Both Thunder Rosa and her team partner. We're going to get Divine Dominion versus Brawling Birds because hey, England, we need Alex Winslow to have a match in her hometown because hey, she's Ospreay's wife. So what the frick? Yeah, I guess that's happening. I say that because I put her name in. I can't say it with what's her partner's name? Oh my god! I need help. I need who? What is Alice Windsor and what's her partner's name? I'm having the brain. Jimmy Hayter. I had a big brain fart. Forgive me, y'all. But yeah, I say that because Jimmy Hayter is my girl. I do want her to get a big part, but Alice Windsor and whatever. But that is what it feels like with this promo, like especially with the big English tea set. It's like, okay, so they're definitely coming back in a capacity for All In. It's probably gonna be against the Divine Dominion. They're probably winning the belt. That's fine. But it's like you don't have to be so bold about it. You don't have to be so you got what's the word? Yeah, so easy. It's like so there we go. So obvious about it. We can be a little more subtle than this. But it was cool, I guess, for the what. Your thoughts?
I mean, I'm always torn on these kind of weird, I don't want to call it cinematic, but like off, out of the arena type vignettes. Like, first of all,
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Everybody's well aware of the realities of professional wrestling, right? We know kayfabe and all that stuff, but like, the idea is that you're supposed to try to give up some sort of air of reality. Like, you're not supposed to make it totally obvious that it's kayfabe. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure these two are in the bar fighting every day in reality, but that doesn't ring real with me. So this feels very staged and very contrived, and I'm not a big fan of that. That being said, the Brawling Bird's back. I'm happy for that. I like Jimmy Hayter. I like Alex Windsor. I agree with you. I think this feels like they're going to take the belts off Divine Dominion and put them on Hayter and Windsor, mostly because it's in London and these are the big favorites. And Divine Dominion has had the belts now for a minute and hasn't really done a whole lot with them, mostly because there hasn't been a whole lot to do with them. And so it feels like, a title shift is something that might be in Tony's mindset. I do feel bad. I feel like Thunder Rosa has been putting in the work against Divine Dominion and doesn't get the payoff. So that's a little bit disappointing. I mean, we'll see. If Windsor and Hayter don't win, then that's something. But if they get the win, then it feels like that's a little bit, it feels like a further snub to Thunder Rosa, which feels like AEW has snubbed her a fair amount recently. So especially when she says, I'm not injured, I'm ready to wrestle, and there's just nothing for me, right? It's like, well, what the fuck? So, and I understand that she's got a lot of stuff going on in her world too. She does a lot of other stuff, but she's also made it clear, I'm here for AEW and I'm here to wrestle. So, the whole thing is weird. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of that, but I am a fan of Hayter and Windsor, and I'm glad that they're back. I think the match should be good. I'm not the biggest fan of Divine Dominion. I like Leland Cross better than Megan Bayne. I think they're solid, but I don't think they're special. There's nothing about them that I'm like, oh my God, I love Divine. There's nothing about them. I feel much more. I like Hayter and Windsor. I'm much more high on them and their ability than I am on Divine Dominion. So, I mean, them having the belts would make me happier. I do, like I said, I feel bad for Thunder Rosa though.
Yeah, I echo everything. All right, and so next up after that. We commercial break, come back. We have Renee Paquette interviewing Ospreay in the middle of her life. He talks to Ospreay and like, how do you feel about the main event tonight? And Ospreay was like, hey, Omega's my guy. I'm very nervous for him because this is a very dark stipulation. But then here comes MJF, and of course he's poking the bear. He's like, after I'm done with Omega, he can't wrestle with title anymore. I'll come after you. And then Ospreay on his arrogant pedal, he's like, you know the reason why you have a problem with me, bro? Is because you know that you're not in the conversation of best wrestler in the world. And so it's just like, I'm a champ. Paul? And you're a champ, but because because you always use tricks until you win a match without anything up your sleeve, bro. You're never in a conversation. And then India spits in his face. You know how I feel about that, where it's just so gross. And rightfully so, the fight breaks out in the parking lot, and then people come out to break them up, and MJF starts screaming, "I'm the champ! I'm the champ! Your boy is done! He is done! And it's on your hands! It's on your hands!" Now, I don't like spitting in the face, but I am a little bit on MJF's side. Where it's just like, bruh, that whole thing where he says that Oscar said you're not in a conversation. I'm like, sir, listen, no, we don't like that he uses tactics to win matches. But he is a great wrestler and he is champion. You can't negate champions like that because you want to. I like, bro. So I was not such a thing, but I have a little bit of MJF side. He's like, bro, he is a champ though. Like that was hilarious. But no, I love this. I love the whole meeting up of the build up of how important this match is. So I appreciate this as well, especially in the somewhat middle of the show. This is all good. Your thoughts?
For the most part, I mean, I'm glad that it ended the way it did. I mean, far too often people say things in each other's faces, and the reactions are not commiserate with what was said. And MJF is super sensitive to the idea that he's not one of the best in the world. So Ospreay saying that just triggers all that. And his response to spit in his face is absolutely disgusting, but it's a perfect response because that's an MJF tactic. That's what he does, and that's the perfect thing to do if you really want to piss somebody off. So that's and then the reaction is perfect from Ospreay. So I thought this went well all the way around. I agree. Okay, let me rephrase. I don't necessarily agree with what Ospreay says. I agree that Max has always taken shortcuts, and I agree that Max has used a million and one things to help him win. I do think Max is one of the best wrestlers in the world at the moment. So I think both can be true. And so, in that regard it is. But again, Ospreay's trying to ruffle his feathers. So he's not going to say anything complimentary at all. And so I thought this was perfect. I thought this worked out the way that these things should go. Face to face, someone says something that irritates you, you actually respond, and then they respond, and then it breaks down into a fight. So I was here for all this. I thought this was really good, and I think it hypes up. It ultimately hypes up MJF versus Ospreay. So
this is very true. All right. Next up, we have another match because we are AEW. And it is Takeshita versus Fletcher for the international title because we still don't know what belt Okada has when they're facing each other. International title, we're going to call the international title. This was like it's AEW, right? So it's like you're at one point in time we're going to get one of these good matches on TV, but if you wanted to put this on a pay-per-view, it would not disappoint it because more so we just talked about how Fletcher's in his wrestling bag and he's going for best TV wrestler now that he's back. But in Takeshia's just Takeshia, bro. And I love the opening where you see Kyle, like, his eyes are closed, he's taking it so serious. It's more Kyle as well as you should. But you can see where they've been, even though this was, they broke up Double or Nothing, where it was Double or Nothing. It's been only 2 months, but they've made this feel like it's been it's been a way longer feud. Like I said, but this is more so the history of Downtown Family, more so with Takeshita and Fletcher, probably leads more towards that. But this was a great match. I'm just going to put in some highlights. I love the first interaction of them filling each other out, where like they've been fighting each other since birth. a funny segment was I guess Kyle Fletcher was doing a timeout water break, and Takeshita hit Fletcher. The water didn't. I'm going to assume the water was supposed to spit out right, but it didn't. That's just me. So Takeshita gets the bottle, pours it over himself, does a full on Triple H 2000 spit, and that thing on. I'm like, yes, you know how hard it is to do that, to do the Triple H spray. I tried to do it during charades once on this show, and that thing just like it was a plop, and it hit my head. And that spray is so hard to do. So I applied, and then if you see Ciampa's retirement match in NXT, he tried to do it too. The spray is hard. So the catch is doing the spray. I'm like, I'm out here for it. But back to the wrestling, which is great wrestling. Because it goes for a clothesline, and Fletcher just hits him with a freaking super kick. It's like, bruh! And then, of course, we have the Fletcher special of near falls after, what do you call it? Your signature move, Spam Fest. But 1, 2, 3, Fletcher beats Takeshita. I did not see this coming. It wasn't like I didn't have a pinpoint person of who was going to win because it's these two people, which is a great way to go into a match. But I am very saddened that this is the end of Takeshita's run. Or just like, what did he do for him? Did he even face? I think he faced maybe one person, and that was it. So that's why I'm a little bit disappointed. We're just like, he didn't face nobody before you let him beat him. So boo to that. I'm very mad at that. But it's Kyle Fletcher. At least he didn't get beat by no snub. Hopefully they'll run this back. I'm not sure, but that'll be really, really good to do. But this was a very good match. It had no business. I mean, it's beef break, so like they had a little bit of business being on here. But if you wanted to postpone it, you really could have. But great match overall. Your thoughts?
I mean, regularly AEW does these special dynamites, and they feel underwhelming to me.
Yeah.
They never quite. But this one, I thought, and this was the beginning of a show that I thought actually felt like a special dynamite. By the time this was over and done with, I thought this could have been a paper. It felt like a pay-per-view to a certain extent.
Yes.
And this was kind of that opening salvo. This match was great. Even though it wasn't the first match of the night, it was, this match was the first one that really kicked off the show for me. And I thought this was phenomenal. My only issue with this is just like you said. I'm just disappointed that it's the end of Takeshita's run with the belt. I don't have a problem with him losing to a guy like Kyle Fletcher. Kyle Fletcher's in his bag. He's one of the best wrestlers on the planet at the moment. But so is Takeshita. And Takeshita just won that belt from Okada. I mean, he defended it, once maybe before this? If not, I mean, no more than twice. So,
maybe once.
And he hasn't even had it for 60 days. So I'm a little disappointed in that. I thought Takeshita should have had the belt a little longer. And a win against Kyle Fletcher in that setting to retain the belt would have gone a long way to make this feel like a really solid title run for Takeshita, which I think would have been a good deal. So that being said, Kyle Fletcher with the belt is what it is. I still feel like this is treading water for Kyle Fletcher. I understand Tony Khan wants all belts to feel the same, but the reality is that they're not. And the World Championship is above the rest of them. And Kyle Fletcher should be competing for the World Championship. Not that having the International Championship isn't nice, but it feels like it's treading water for him. He should be competing for the World Championship. So I don't. I feel like he spent a lot of time around the TNT title, and now we're back at the International Championship. And it's just like, when are you going to push him to that next level? So we'll see what that looks like. Again, great match, solid wrestlers. I have no doubt that we have not seen the end of Takeshita versus Kyle Fletcher. Whether that's for a title in the future, whether it is, going to be sooner or later, I have no idea. But I can't imagine this is the end of the two of them together in some way, shape, or form. So, disappointed with the outcome, but love Kyle Fletcher and, great match. So,
So all of these things. All right, and so celebration, we have Don Callis family coming in, lifting the lifting Kyle Fletcher up on his shoulders and showing the belt. And here comes Mick Foley for an in-ring interview. We haven't seen Mick Foley since Double or Nothing. Yeah, Double or Nothing. And on we call it the commentary, we haven't seen Mick Foley on TBS or Turner Classic Channel, whatever, since 1994. Like, so I'm like, I didn't even know he was over in WCW. I didn't even know that. I didn't. I guess but in my defense, I didn't know that. I did a couple of years ago. I didn't know that Stone Cold was on WCW either. As with Paul Heyman. So it is what it is. But so he comes in the interview, Kyle Fletcher, and of course Don Callis just has to lapse it up and make it all about him. Talking about get your old behind in here. Get your old behind out here and stop trying to overshadow new stars. It's just like, sir, are you talking to yourself? Because it's literally what the Don Callis family is. Your behind taking the credit for new stars. And so McFoley was like, listen, basically Callis, shut up. You know what legitimacy is? I bring legitimacy. So when I say that was the best match of all time, I mean it. When I say that Kyle Fletcher is a future AEW champion, I mean it. And then he goes to, you see my shoes? You say, so both my shoes have one of the dogs painted on them. One passed away, another one is still here. He's like, if you ever get my face again, I'm going to set one of these shoes up your... It's like, hey! Mick Foley still got it. Surprise, surprise. But Don Callis family, Don gets the mic and Mick Foley leaves. That was very weird. It was when I say weird, I love that Mick Foley's here because he more so why he left WWE, and he's still a Hall of Famer. So seeing him in capacities, I'm all here for. This we could have had a better spot for Mick Foley for his official Dynamite date. Because to be clear, we only saw him in AEW the pre-show for Double or Nothing, but this is his first official Dynamite debut. I feel like we could have done better by him in that department. But it is what it is. And then Don Callis family comes out. More so, Kevin Knight gets the mic. And he's like, okay, congratulations, Kyle Fletcher. You finally brought gold back to the Don Callis. I was like, what the heck? And he just reminds everybody, guys, it's very, very clear. The only reason why I was in that little Death Doors match is because I want to tap a shot at MJF. So everybody just be prepared because Kevin Knight 2 belts is still on the horizon. It's like, what the frick? What the frick is going on? And then here comes Andrade in a full suit and trench coat in Florida weather. Sir, I appreciate the style, but you don't have to sweat out your hair for the fit. I'm just saying. But so he comes out there and so he's like, listen, I'm not done with the Don Callis family, and I want to say he wants to go for Kevin Knight's TBS title. And he's like, if you don't think I'm going to win it, everyone get ready. How you know? And so he's like, I'm done with y'all. If y'all want to beat me, I'll come get me back. No. And the side note, I love before he said it, Kyle Fletcher, he's in his bag. He has his fingers in his ear before everyone says how you know, which is definitely hilarious. Let's call it. Andrade was like, come get me back. And then you go full on Spanish, which I love. I'm like, listen, when you're speaking your native language, because it's a full on tier of aggression that I'm out here for. And come and get me back. And so the lower half of Don Callis family with Kevin Knight follows Andrade to the back, and a fight breaks out. But surprise, who has his back? Darby Allin has Andrade's back for the fight. Don Callis gets the upper hand. They're going to use the back, and they're like, they'll touch that back. It's a skateboard. And so Brian takes the skateboard about to hit Darby Allin with it, boom, here comes the Darby Allin shenanigans where the freaking skateboard explodes. And so well, here comes the hilariousness of it. Everybody's like, what happened? Jake Joe was like, it was him. And here's Andrade with a big old freaking control box. And he says, how you know? And then that's it. And they start fighting, and Darby and Johnny has the upper hand. So two things. That was hilarious. I am glad that the catchphrase is catching on, right? But on the side note, I don't want him just to say it. I like the first time that how got over because he was having a conversation with NJL and he kept baiting him, and NJL kept getting into him. So that's how I got off, and that's why I like it. So this part of them using how you know properly, I'm like, yes, hilarious, I love it. And so this was a stuffed mouth of stuff all in one segment, where it's like you had Mick Foley interview Don Callis family, then you had Andrade come out and bait him, then you have Darby in the back trying to start facing off with them, then you have an exploding skateboard. It's like this didn't have to be all in one segment. I know we could have chosen either one or two things. Either Andrade comes after Kyle wins, Andrade comes out and baits him, or we have a Mick Foley segment. But them putting it all together, it was a very big mouthful. Not everything sucked, but it was just too much in one segment. But it was cool. Oh, your thought?
I couldn't agree more. I thought it was all too much. I couldn't agree more about the Mick Foley stuff. Sorry. I'm very excited that Mick is there. Disappointed with him, as with myself, that it took us as long as it did to realize that we should get away from WWE. But better late than never. Better to come around than never. So glad that he separated himself from them. Glad that he said the things that he said about WWE, and glad that he's in AEW. Yeah, this should have been a better segment. Putting Mick Foley out there to get insulted by Don Callis and essentially run off of the stage doesn't do well, because in real life, Mick Foley would just kick the shit out of Don Callis, I'm sure. So, and I understand that Mick Foley is not in a position where he can wrestle, or you don't want him doing all that physical stuff, but the idea that Don Callis is going to drive Mick Foley off the out of the ring or off the stage just doesn't hold a lot of water with me. So I wasn't a big fan of that. And then you compound it all with all the extra stuff. Andrade comes out, and then you got Darby Allin. It's like this is all way too much going on here. So yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I mean, in a vacuum, these things work fine. Andrade, versus Kevin Knight for that championship. Yeah. I'm here for that. That's fine. Darby Allin still having his run-ins with the Don Callis family. I'm here for that. It doesn't all work in one big segment. And Mick Foley's first, appearance or interview or live interaction on TV should have been done in a better way. A, he should have had more time, and B, he shouldn't have made to look like an idiot next to Don Callis to a certain extent. So, not that he was made to look like an idiot per se, but it came off like Don Callis had the upper hand, and I don't like that. And so in a vacuum, these things are fine individually, but as a whole, this segment was long-winded and a lot going on. So,
no, definitely agree. All right, one moment here. Then we have because they just said did they get paid for this TV special? I just tell me something, because it felt like they were going for broke on this special. The next match, because we are AEW, is Ospreay and Moxley versus JD Drake and Anthony Henry. I'm not sure if Anthony Henry is part of the Workhorsemen, but I know that JD Drake is, and I love the Workhorsemen. I love them so again, talking about pandemic wrestlers, he was one of my favorites. Where it was the people who should tell the pandemic a little bit better. He was one of them. I love his wrestling. I love him so much. This was a very, very tasty little snack after the big match of Takeshita versus Cal Fletcher. I love Moxley and Ospreay wrestling. Like they're both Ospreay. Sorry, Moxley is decent, but and Ospreay's Ospreay. So surprise, surprise, they make a good team. But this was very much. But I love. But Anthony Henry is no slouch. I love the interaction between him and Ospreay. The first end, like, oh, okay. Listen, even though you know who's gonna win, that don't mean you don't show up and show out. And I love that they both did that. Another part that I loved was I love that the JD Drake versus Moxley because JD Drake is a big boy, so it was one slap in the chest. Like, oh, and Lawson's like, one moment here. So he goes out and he's like Marina, I need encouragement. I need encouragement. And Marina wants to slap the crap out of it. Like you can't tell Marina to do something. If she's gonna do a full force, he slaps the crap out of Moxley. Get in there, get in. He gets hyped up. And he goes back in there to face JD Drake. And then Ospreay gets that big boy up for the freaking Styles Clash, baby. That's a big baby boy. And of course, surprise, Ospreay and Moxley win. This was a very nice. It was not a cool off. Not a there we go. Use your words. Not a bathroom break match after Cal versus Takeshita, but a nice cool off match to be like, oh, it's still entertaining, but I can at least like kind of calm down just a little bit, in my opinion. But so this was a very good cool off match after the big national championship match. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
I mean, I'm a big fan of Anthony Henry and JD Drake. I like them both. I wish they both had more. We're getting more on AEW in general. Moxley and Ospreay together is what it is. I'm not a big fan of this Moxley at the moment, but it is what it is. And I know that this isn't the moment necessarily to talk about it, but I have a question for you. Why are they in a huddle, dancing around in a circle now? Why? That's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life, dude. You guys are killers. You're stone cold killers, but you're all going to hold hands in a circle, jump around in a circle. Come the fuck on. What are we doing? Like, is this supposed to make you look more facish? Like, is this supposed to make you look like good guy? Like, I don't like, wow. Okay, that being said, Moxley can wrestle, Ospreay can wrestle. All four of these guys can really wrestle. I wish that the match had gone a little bit longer and the workhorsemen got a little bit more, whatever, but they both showed out. And like you said, just because you know you're going to lose doesn't mean you can't come to fight. So, I'm a big fan of both of those guys and big fan of Ospreay. I thought the match was fun and exciting. I'm not a big fan of this Moxley at the moment, but Moxley always has good matches. So, I mean, he's still hard hitting, and his interaction with JD Drake was a lot of fun. I did enjoy that. And as you would expect, they got the win. So, it is what it is.
It is what it is. It was a good time. All right. And so next, we're over here. We have a Sheeta promo after, basically, just in case you didn't see it, it was a recap of the TBS championship match last week. And Sheeta is like, and now TBS stands for the best is Sheeta. All right. I'm not mad at it. Except I'm not mad at Cheetah winning this belt. I certainly just stole the show in the match wise, right? I don't hate that they're giving Cheetah a second run, and especially as a bad guy, it makes her very much more so interesting. As of right now, I'm here for the ride. I'll say that I'm here for the ride. I don't know where we're going with it. Hopefully we're not going to just go. I hope we're just not going to do Cheetah versus Statlander real quick. I hope we don't do that. Like please don't run that back so quickly. They have a proper run. So as of right now, I'm not opposed to it. Your thoughts?
In a vacuum, I have no problem with Hikaru Shida being a champion in any way, shape, or form. She was AEW Women's World Champion before. She's earned it. She deserves it, if you want to use deserve as a word. And all those things. She's an amazing wrestler. I get a little tired of what feels like recycling, especially when someone hasn't been around
Yeah,
for a while and there's been other women putting in the work. I mean, I don't know who I necessarily think it should have gone to, but I was just not disappointed that Cheetah's champion. I just feel bad for some of the other women that have been here
yeah,
doing the lion's share of the work, and here she comes, and because her resume is what it is, she gets to go over, right? Like, where is Queen Aminata's opportunity to actually be a title holder? Like, there
yeah,
are other women that were in that match that I think deserve an opportunity. And even if it's just a Briscoe Sami Zayn opportunity, even if it's just a whatever, it still is a chance to have that moment. You know what I'm saying? And that moment means a
yeah,
lot to people. And people work really
yeah,
hard for that moment. So, and that's not taking anything away from Hikaru Shida. I'm sure she works very hard for all the moments and all the success that she has as well. I just I feel bad for other women that were here doing it and don't get those same opportunities. So that being said, Shida should be a fun champion, and we'll see what her reign looks like. I'm not The women's division is down a little bit. I mean, it's down for the main event, let alone for, the mid card titles. So it'll be very interesting to see what Sheeta's reign looks like. So, but I,
yeah.
I mean, I'm here for it.
No, totally agree. That's the interesting part of it, where it's like, okay, what are we going to do with this title reign?
Yeah.
All right, and then so next up, we have the women's gauntlet to see who's going to face Tekla at AEW Redemption. And Tekla is coming out with her drink. She's going to be on commentary. I love every little moment of it. But here's the match. And so we knew because of Collision that Maya World and Athena is first. So they both come out. Very great start. I love them. Great chemistry. And that's like whatever y'all want to do with these girls, just go ahead with it. And then next up, we have Sky Blue. She comes up with a chair. She does her sky blue thing. Okay. Now, I'll say this, right? The women, this is an inkling of why the gauntlet match shouldn't be on television, because there's a time, right? So it's just like the next, unless someone beats someone for the 1, 2, 3, people gotta get them out. So the 3, 2, 1, it's like stop during commercial break, picture in picture. I'm like, no, you can't do that. You have to still have people come out, even if it's commercial break. Like, I get it. This is all predetermined, but it's like, come on, bro. Every minute is 10. So let's not break that because it's a picture in picture. So that sounds like come on, do your due diligence to make it look at least, somewhat whatever. But I know, so after Sky Blue comes out, Mia Shirakawa, he gets brings a little energy, and then from Stardom, Pink Eagle, Rita comes out. I believe this is the person that what's his name? Athena beat to be the #1 spot. I love her. She's definitely a great wrestler. And then Julia Hart comes out, okay, and then Tekla's all hyped up for her girls in the match, and then Thunder Rosa comes out again. Again, we have another picture break where we have to wait more than a lot of time. People coming out, which is hilarious. But then when it comes out, and the workhorse was Athena. I loved Athena. Where yes, everybody was wrestling to win, but Athena she drove the point home of it's the first 1, 2, 3 was the whole thing. So Athena was all over the place, where she was like she just popped out of nowhere and tried to get a cover, and unfortunately it didn't happen. The last pop up she did the O face, and that was only a 2 count. I was like, bro, what's happening? And then so it kind of sends out, and then we hear the music. Again, I love that they show both of her biggest rivals. You have so Mercedes Moné is on a beach chair looking at this as well, because she has a championship match in the works as well. So either way, this match affects both Tekla and Mercedes. But Mercedes big eye roll, and Athena just has this twisted, distorted look of, oh, what, this happened again? That's what her face said. And so I love on beat the whole dun, 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 dun. And so she does a kick to Athena's face outside on beat. I love that. And Willow just said, just to prove that, hey, everything is healed up. Spine buster, a freaking powerbomb to the ring apron, a freaking sandcar off the top, off the freaking ring. I'm like, oh, no, you just got here. We believe you. You healed up. You good. Like all this was happening as well. And so at the end segment, we have Maya World doing a broken arrow to Athena outside the ring, and then Julia Hart tries to do a quick cover but didn't do it. Willow does a powerbomb. 1, 2, 3. Willow wins, and she is now facing Tekla at AEW Redemption. And it's Willow. Like, how can you be mad about it? Because why? It's Willow. It's just like, yeah. And so I was like, when Willow had her hands raised, she's just like, yeah, I knew I was going to win. And it's like, girl, the confidence goes off you. I'm not mad at. Very, very good. Very, very good gauntlet where the women did show up throughout. I just, this is like that's comparing it to a Rumble. But even the men's gauntlet, the men's casino gauntlet, I just want one surprise. And like I said, no offense, but y'all kind of ruined the Will surprise because of Collision. So I just need one more other surprise. Like, oh shoot! I just need one more of those in one of these women's gauntlet matches to make it up there. But it was a decent, good match. I loved it nonetheless. The ending was a little bit fast. Where it's just like, hey, a deal comes out. It feels like within a match minute of 3 minutes. Will comes out, beat everybody up. 1, 2, 3, match over. That's what it feels like. But it was still a good match. Your thoughts?
I'm extremely ecstatic that Willow is back and won. I'm not necessarily, gauntlet matches are what they are. The fact that the pinfall takes the win anytime, but yet almost every single time you have a gauntlet match, everyone that's in the match gets a chance to get into the match. It is a little like it never ends with Athena getting a miraculous O-face in the first 2 minutes on Maya World in an upset, and all of a sudden it's over. Like that never happens.
Right? Yeah.
I understand why you want to give all these women, but the reality is that you book it in such a way that could happen. So at some point, in theory, you do enough of these, something like that should happen at some point. Like
it does.
So. That being said, the match itself was fine. Julia Hart and Sky Blue are what they are. They're mid-card wrestlers at best. So it is what it is. They're pushing Maya World, and she looks really, really good. Athena is a main event wrestler. She should be in AEW competing with Tekla for the World Championship, as is Willow. So, not every one of this match is equal. But all things considered, I'm extremely happy that Willow gets the win. I still want more for Athena. Like, I understand that Willow is huge. I absolutely love Willow. And saying I want more for Athena when she's been the Ring of Honor World Champion now for 100 years sounds crazy. But, the reality is that before Willow, Athena was around. Like, she was already Ember Moon. She was around. She had already done stuff. We knew who she was. I was extremely excited when she broke away from WWE, came to AEW, and then it feels like she ended up in Ring of Honor and has just been not backburnered, but we just haven't gotten the Athena over the years that I would want from AEW and Ring of Honor. And then Willow kind of came along, and Willow's an amazing star and all those things, but it's like, not that this should be Athena's spot, but Athena's been doing it longer. She's put in more work to a certain extent. And hasn't had that opportunity per se like Willow has. Not the same booking, not the same whatever. So again, I love Willow. I'm not saying I want Athena over Willow, any of those things. But I just think it's interesting the decisions that get made. I find that interesting. The match itself is fine. Was a lot of fun. Willow getting the win, that was fun. I do agree with you. Her coming in at the very end and getting the win really quick. That's part of the problem with what you said, right? When you put a match like this on Dynamite, is that you're limited. Yes, in theory, the pay-per-view, you want to keep it to 4 hours, but you're not limited. If it goes long and you want to do a long gauntlet match, you can do that. And no one's going to argue. I mean, you might get complainers who say you shouldn't have a 6-hour pay-per-view, but you can do that. You're limited on Dynamite. Like, you can only be on TV for 2 hours because there's other programming coming on that other people that aren't watching wrestling are waiting for, right? So you can't really, so you're limited. So you have to do it within X amount of time. And yeah, the ending did feel slightly rushed, but it came out the way I'm happy with the way it came out. Willow's getting a shot at Tekla. It should be a lot of fun, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought Athena because that was one of my points. That like if this is Athena's choice, please tell us so we can put us out of our misery. But yeah, I need more Athena on my television. I just do, bruh. I just do. But yeah, so post match we have, Tekla's not going to be on commentary after all this. She goes straight after Willow with a crazy spear. She's going to hit her with the belt, but Mercedes comes out of nowhere and beats up Tekla. The good guys are trying to run in to help Willow. But Divine Dominion comes out and power bombs, I want to say, Mina and Thunder Rosa. And then Mercedes takes out Tekla and Willow and holds up her Owen Hart Cup belt. This is a lot. This is a semi of a mouthful of stuff that happened. We're also adding Divine Dominion into the mix, where it's just like, and then the commentary is like, oh, it looks like Mercedes took a deal with Divine Dominion. And it's like, oh, okay. I'm not sure how I feel about that. We're just like, because like we saw her and Camille, and no offense, that was not a good pairing. So to have her, I'm not sure how long this goes, but if we're going to pair her with Divine Dominion, I'm not here for it. But I do. It was intriguing that Mercedes beat up Tekla and Willow. So it's like, no matter what, she's like, hey, no matter what, I'm coming for the spot. But it was a fine aftermath after the match, though. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, my only argument with this was that we just did this, right? We literally 2 segments before we had the same kind of where there's way too much going on. So, and I understand that you want to get women, you want to get women on TV, you want to get everyone a spot, all those kinds of things. But I understand that you have this. I mean, I suppose that there's a rivalry between the Sisters of Sin and Divine Dominion. They haven't really shown that, but I guess that's why they're out attacking them. Yeah, that made no sense to me. Tekla and Willow could have done their own thing. You don't need Divine Dominion out there. You don't need, all the extra involvement. So it did kind of clutter it up a little bit. And yeah, I mean, Mercedes basically standing tall over both Willow and Tekla. I don't know if that's foreshadowing. Which, again, it is what it is. Mercedes is what she is. She's one of the greatest wrestlers on the planet. So her being world champion, I'm not opposed to any of that. A 3-way, a triple threat between these 3 would be insane. Willow, Tekla, and Mercedes in some sort of triple threat at some point. I'm here for that. Yeah. In the meantime, I'm really hoping that Willow beats Tekla at All In. I think it's time. Tekla's had the belt for a while now. They haven't done enough to give her enough competition. And Willow is the woman, and she's back, and she's ripe and ready to be world champion. So I hope Willow gets that win. So
yeah. The only thing is, like, this thing about having a pay-per-view right before All In, where it's just like, I love Tekla, where it's like, it's no shame in losing it before All In, but it does kind of hurt to lose it right before All In. You know what I'm saying? So I would be mad at triple threat. Willow coming out on top, no matter what. This is my goal, but yeah, it's like, I love like you could, that's the only thing. It's like you have to do it right before All In. All right. And so next up, this didn't be on here. they show a video package of Jack Perry. Oh, how his whole thing at AEW was he resigned. Okay, like no offense. I know that like there was a conversation of is he going to resign? Maybe just me. I didn't think he wasn't. So that's why I wasn't that pressed about, oh, is he not going to resign or not? So yeah, but you doing this whole thing about him resigning, cool. It's like, all right, he's still in AEW. Have at it. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was dumb. I mean, I thought this was definitely not necessary. This in the next segment, the 2 segments before the main event, I thought were things that didn't need to be on Dynamite, unfortunately. So, I mean, again, in a vacuum, it's fine that Jack Perry is re-signed. I didn't think that he wouldn't, but Jack Perry does nothing in the scheme of things. What does Jack Perry do for AEW that his re-signing is worthy of an announcement and gets me excited? It doesn't. I mean, you could just post the Jack Perry re-signed, and that's fine. You could just have Excalibur or one of the announcers say, Jack Perry's re-signed his contract and he'll remain with AEW, and that would have been more than enough. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So beyond now that Luchasaurus is out and we don't have Jurassic Express, he's not doing anything. I mean, he really does nothing. So, yeah, okay.
Like it is what it is. Yeah. And then after that, like you said, we have Jack Perry getting interviewed by Renee Paquette, and he was like, listen, the Don Callis family took everything from me. Now it's time for me to come into the Don Callis family. So Mark Davis, I'm calling you out to face you for the national championship and Collision. Did not know why you think we had to know this. It's like you know what? Gauntlet match was good, so then we need a debriefer. Not sure why you got deeper to get debriefer, but nonetheless, okay, fine. Speedball versus Mark Davis. Cool. You have that? You're fine.
If you were going to do this, this should have been announced on Collision the week before for the following Collision. This doesn't need to be on Dynamite, for one. And 2, this we talked when we were talking about Collision about them choosing Kevin Knight over Mike Bailey. And no offense, but this is a perfect example of why Mike Bailey is just not a good promo. I mean, he just isn't. I like Mike Bailey. I think he's a good guy. He's an extremely good wrestler. He's just not a good promo. And I didn't think that this came off great. I mean, there's not a lot of energy. There's not nothing where I was like, I'm excited for this. Unfortunately, there wasn't. So let's see. So yeah. So again, I feel bad, but I think this further illustrates why they went with Kevin Knight. Unfortunately, it's not just enough to be an amazing wrestler and athlete. Unfortunately, which Mike Bailey is. You really have to do the other stuff. There's the talking, the personality, all that stuff is equally as important, if more important, sometimes than the wrestling. And unfortunately, Mike Bailey it's just not there. I mean, maybe he can get there, maybe he can work on it, but it's just not there.
Unfortunately, yeah. All right. Now it's time for the main event. And it is straight up. The entrances was straight up like, oh, something is gonna happen. Something's gonna happen. First out is Kenny Omega with the blue fire pyro and the commanding entrance before we get to I hear the battle cry. I hear listen. Before he's done, can I please get an Anarchy in the Arena where they're wrestling to battle cry? I'm like, that's the perfect Anarchy in the Arena freaking song. Or I just hear it. Okay, sorry. But he comes out, and then here comes Big Hebrew, MJF, and all of his gold glory with the shower pyro and everything. Then we get to the announcements, and MJF this is why you lost. This why yeah. Spoiler alert, he lost, and this is why he lost. Because you didn't have to do this. Take him out. So first things first. So we start with Kenny Omega, and he's like, from Canada by way of Orlando. I'm like, what? Time out. For the past 4 years, the introduction of Kenny Omega has been Canada through North Carolina. But now you want to sim for us and talk about by way of Orlando, and you saw Kenny's face when he said it. Kenny was like, yeah. He was like, yes, thank you. Don't be acting like you've been claiming Orlando this whole time. Kenny Omega. But then you flip it, and then MJF, his Papa has to come out, and your champion who has been born in a place that's way better than this godforsaken Florida where you inbred. I'm like, yo, mama, I'm like, you see, this is why you lost. MJ, I'm like, ain't nobody, y'all didn't have to go this hard on the intros. Y'all could have done your regular intros, and like, I don't know why you had to go in Florida this hard. This was so unnecessary. But either way, I just had to. That was her. The match starts, and it's Kenny Omega versus freaking MJF. We've done this 3 times, which is it's crazy. Considering all the matches we haven't done yet. We've gotten Kenny versus MJF 3 times, and that's no days. That ain't no that. You ain't gonna tell us to not want it, but it goes out good. You clean each other out, but as soon as the nervousness comes out, the berries keeps going. A quick couple of highlights: the MJF snaps into a cutter. That was insane, and of course, Kenny Omega just need people all over the place. You can't go wrong with a Kenny Omega match. No matter how you think who should win or lose, or how much time he gets, the criticism will never be Kenny Omega can't wrestle. It is what it is. We get to the end, and here comes the shenanigans of MJF using his ring, but Omega, come on. Boom. But Omega's good friend Will Ospreay is out there to stop the shenanigans. He gets the ring from MJF, but it doesn't stop the shenanigans because MJF. No. So Omega gets the belt, and he's about to use it. And then this is okay. So commentary is sometimes they suck, sometimes they be on point. I love they brought this point up where before Kenny hits him, he's like, this is how he won the belt the first time. And it's like, for people who forget, yeah, the first time he won the belt was he hit Moxley with the belt with Don Callis. So let's not act like Kenny's been a good guy this whole time. But so I love commentary bringing that up. He holds on to the belt, but he doesn't want to go resort to old tactics. But MJF does the low blow, and we think it's a 1, 2, 3. It's not. Oh gosh! And then Kenny kicks out at 1. Listen. No offense to all of you guys, but I think we should reserve the one tap kick out to Kenny. It's like it don't hit as good as when y'all do it. I'm sorry. Kenny's the only time when he kicks out at 1, and it's just like, it just makes you just spasm out of your skin. And I love the face on Omega. I'm sorry, on Ospreay's face when he's on the ramp and he sees the kick out at 1. He did the slow smile up. He's been on the opposite end of that, so he knows that. Oh shoot, this is about to go down. And Kenny hits the one wing angel. 1, 2, 3. Your and new AEW World Heavyweight Champion, Kenny, by God, Omega. So match wise, great. Did we have any doubts it was going to be great? It's MJF versus Kenny Omega. The residue after the match, I get why they did it. I get why you did it, because we're going into we're going into All In. We do have a preview before that. We are going into All In, and y'all been serving us this match of Kenny versus Ospreay at All In, which is a huge match. I'm trying. You really can't debate on if you have anything bigger. But with MJF, it's like I did kind of want him to go into All In the main event. I did, because he's MJF. Now people are like, well, he has plenty to do. He's going up against Andrade. He's blah 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 blah. I'm like, Andrade's good. I love their interaction. But for All In, I wouldn't have been mad if they wanted to keep the belt on MJF until All In. That's just me. But for Dynamite, this was a very great Dynamite. We said before, like, y'all did not have to go this hard for this show. Y'all did it. And especially when you have redemption in 2 weeks. July 26th. So it's like, bruh, what are we? Not saying it felt rushed, but it is feeling like we're trying to connect the dots to All In as we go. It what feels like. But all that being said, spring beach break. Beach break, July 8th. It's an A. It's an A. It's an A. Only a couple of things were just like, that's probably not an A plus, but it's a solid A. Your thoughts on the main event and beach break altogether?
Yeah, I thought the main event was a lot of fun. I mean, I thought that the way it went down was a lot of fun. There's debate about who the best wrestler on the planet is. There's no debate about the fact that every single time Kenny Omega steps between the ropes, it's at minimum a 5-star match. And depending on how you rank stuff, it might be better. I mean, it's there's a reason why he's the best bout machine. I mean, the dude never has a off night. He never has a bad match. I don't know how, even though Ospreay is who he is, I don't know how at this moment in time there's anybody on the planet that's better than Kenny Omega when it comes to wrestling in the ring. Every single thing he does, every match he has is almost perfect. And this was no different. I thought this was amazing. I thought the match went off amazing. I loved all the stuff. I thought Ospreay coming out to take the ring off. I thought then Max still getting the low blow, even though Ospreay was able to get the ring, was perfect MJF. And Kenny kicking out at 1, the strong style, kicking out at 1, and then the 5 knees and the one-winged angel. No one's getting up after that. No one gets up after the one-winged angel, let alone, 4 knee triggers before it. So I thought this all played out well. My only issue with this, my issue is twofold. One is, I agree. It's hard to argue, like I was just saying, against Kenny Omega in any match. And when you talk about best wrestlers on the planet, I think the debate is Ospreay, Omega, and then there's a bunch of other people, right, that you could potentially talk about. MJF can be thrown in there, the Swerve Strickland, there's a couple, maybe the Hangman Pages, if you want to talk about them, can be potentially in that mix. For me, there's other guys, Samoa Joe, but he's a little long in the tooth and he's not around at the moment. But there's, the decision that MJF or the decision to put Omega and Ospreay in the match at Wembley is definitely a decision. You're saying
Yeah.
that that's a bigger match than Ospreay and MJF. And my only issue with that is simply that they're the future of wrestling. And I understand Kenny, you could call Kenny maybe the now, but he's also
Yeah,
kind
now.
of the past. He's kind of the past too because he's been around for so
Yeah.
long. Like Kenny Omega is not in his prime. He's still putting out prime work, but he's not in his prime anymore. MJF and Will Ospreay are both right in their prime, and they're going to carry AEW for the next 10 to 15 years. Kenny Omega is not. This very well may be the last Kenny Omega title run that we see in AEW. And don't get me wrong, I'm here for it, and that's fine, and I'm good for that. I just wonder. It feels a little like when you bring the LeBron James to the team and the young guys have to take a back
Yeah.
a little bit. It has that feel to it. Nothing to take away from how great LeBron James is. I don't like LeBron James. Nothing to take away from how great he is. Nothing to take. I love Kenny Omega, so it's a little bit different for me. Nothing to take away from how great Kenny Omega is. And the match was phenomenal. And him versus Ospreay is going to tear the roof off the place. Probably be 7 stars. But it just it pushes it does the younger guys then have to take a little bit of a step back, which is ultimately fine, but it's a decision, right? So it'll be interesting to see what MJF does after this. There is a lot. Oh, the other part of this is that I understand that potentially by pairing Will Ospreay, the little bit that they have with the Death Riders, I suppose it's supposed to give them a little bit of an edge. But the Death Riders are so on the fence whether they're heel or face or not, and it feels like right now Omega versus Ospreay is face versus face, and I always feel like that there's never enough tug there. Like Omega and Ospreay is going to be fine, but there's no grudge. They don't dislike each other. There's no. We're just having the match to have the match, which is great. But when you can add in a Max who's spit in your face, when you can add in a Max who's told you you're not on his level and you're trash compared to him, and there's that added meat on the bone. There's that added, everyone wants to see MJF lose, which you lose a little bit of that now with the Ospreay and Omega match at All In. So all that said, match was phenomenal. There's nothing to complain about the match itself. And this was, like you said, I think this was an A Dynamite. So as great as Collision was, I think this was easily an A Dynamite. So Dynamite gets an A, Collision got a B+ and a B. So Dynamite for winner's circle. Very strong shows. I mean, the fact that Collision was a B, Dynamite was an A, on the heels of 2 really phenomenal pay-per-views in Double or Nothing and Forbidden Door, leading up to what should be a really good All In. I mean, AEW's in their bag at the moment. I don't really have any complaints. So the complaints that I have are all nitpicky little things. It's just things, little things that I like to see or, whatever, but they're nitpicky. AEW is killing it at the moment. So I'm here for all of this. So yes, very solid show. And I'm glad that what feels like finally, I say finally, there's been other ones, but finally an important Dynamite, something that you've given a name. It's Spring Beach Break Dynamite has lived up to that hyping. You know what I mean? So so I enjoyed it. It felt like a pay-per-view, barring a couple little things. So yeah, very good show. Let's see. Anything else you want to say before we do housekeeping and get up out of here?
Nope. Everything. I'll just say All In's gonna be good. I just have a feeling, and that's saying something because the first 2 have not been slouches. So AEW is trying to give us this a really good. I'll give them that. They're trying to put together the best show for London.
Yeah. No, I agree. So it's going to be a fun All In, which is one of the one of the big four and maybe their biggest. I mean, it's debatable whether, what's their WrestleMania show. But All In was their very first pay-per-view ever as a company. So I tend to put a little bit on All In, a little extra on All In. So what I'm glad is it doesn't feel like, and maybe I'm wrong, it doesn't feel like they're going to do All Out a week later.
They're not.
Right?
It'll be in September.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good because in the past it's been way too. Last year they did like All In, and then like 4 days later they did All Out, or a week later they did All. It was like there's no
yeah.
You gotta let these things breathe a little bit. So so I'm definitely looking forward to All In. I imagine this will be Will Ospreay winning the championship, but we will review that and talk about that when it happens. In the meantime, make sure and join us every Tuesday night for the cookout. We all come together and talk about what's cooking up in the world of professional wrestling. 7:30 p.m. Pacific, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. So make sure and check that out every Tuesday night. Friday nights, Miss Anika and sometimes Sammy Joe watch SmackDown in real time starting at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, giving you their real-time reactions and opinions to the show as it happens. On Saturdays, which are with us here now, we do Winner's Circle. It's either on Saturday mornings or Sunday evenings, where we review AEW Collision and Dynamite from the days before and declare a winner. This week's winner was Dynamite, with a very strong showing over a very good Collision. So this was a tough week, but Dynamite did get the win. So join us every Saturday or Sunday night. The best thing to do is to be subscribed to the Workhorse Wrestling Network YouTube channel and have that bell for notifications hit so that you'll get a notification every time we're about to go live so you can catch it. Let's see. You can interact with us on all these social media platforms. We love to hear from you guys. Reach out and let us know what you got going on. If you want to, you can scan this horsey QR code, and that will take you to Linktree, and you can get to all our social media from one location. Come over and check us out and interact with us there. Last but not least, our wonderful producer, Dolores, downloads the audio version of the Cookout podcast and puts it up on these podcasts or on these podcast platforms so you can listen to the audio version of the Cookout if you want to listen to us in your car while you're doing your chores. Whatever you want to do, you can take us with you guys. So that's that. We want to say, as always, thank you guys for joining us. As Dolores loves to do, we will cut those lights. And until next time, peace.
Bye.
That's the call. Win a circle standing tall. LW, Sammy, and Nika break it down. After it all, Dynamite Collision. We told the truth, no filter at all. Tap out.